Welcome, one and all, to episode 7 of Celestial Channel Chat on June 7th, 2019. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm dying, but I still think it's an amazing feeling. I'm really just a little tired, but other than that, welcome, one and all. Thank you guys for waiting in the live chat. Um, Shout out to all of you in the live chat. I see we got my cousin in the building. I don't know if you're still here, Victor, but yeah, shout out to you. Another Aquarius in the building. And yeah, we have our wonderful guest, Sharon. How are you doing?
Do you really want to know?
A really good question. That's a really
Please.
good question.
Very, very great question indeed. Oh my gosh, this has been a very intense week, intense past 3 days. Even as I'm speaking, my right knee started to hurt me. So there's a lot of things happening with the masculine energy. And remember when we spoke, I feel like as if I'm in the masculine energy, and then when I spoke to you, was it yesterday? I said you're in the feminine energy. So there's a lot of things just happening so intensely. So what's in the sign right now? What are we aspecting right now?
The sun is, oh, you asked the $1 million question. We are in quite possibly the most magical T square of all time in existence, past, present, and future. I think the craziest part is that we're so busy living, I don't think we really grasp how entirely super magical this T square is. And I might as well just show you guys because this is one for the books. And thank God we had that peace talk about, looking more subatomic because, oh no, don't play with me. Uh-oh. Uh, this froze. So if I like get cut off, I'm gonna come back on. Uh,
Yeah, there's a lot of energy, passing through with many of us. So we're gonna experience the computer freezing. My computer's been slow, so slow. My cell phone, everything's always like I have to keep restarting. So I can tell you that I feel there's sort of like this atomic type of energy
mhm.
that's happening. That's why.
It's giving me the not responding thing. So
Is it going in circles?
yeah, like
Yeah.
now that I pressed it. But well, until I can get this situated, of course. But the sun is 17 degrees, Jupiter is 19 degrees, Neptune is 18 degrees. Mercury is in Cancer already, but we're effectively seeing these Titans. Come on, Google. We're effectively seeing these Titans square off appropriately and
Mm-hmm.
very greatly just battle for perception. Because the opposition in a square, as much as it is completion and putting one in check, uh, really puts one in a position to challenge their perception inherently, as well as kind of come into a full perceptual awareness of everything that you have in your favor. Kind of like, and that makes sense, especially if you watching have been experience a natural sync between hearing a word, right, Gemini, and then
Mm-hmm.
seeing the word that you just heard at the same time, like you're synced. And that sync is, for example, I was listening to a song and like I'm hearing Logic say, "You are incredible, you are incredible, you are incredible," right as I'm driving by a sign that says "Just Incredible," and you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like that's Neptune and Pisces. It literally makes you question, how, like what, like so this is like
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't question it, Mike. I'm used to it.
yeah. At this
I'm used to
point,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
at this point, it's like I don't even know what to like. This happens way too much now. I feel like I'm getting trolled, but I'm gonna go with
No,
it.
you're not getting trolled. No, you're not getting. That happened to me this evening. Also, I actually had a download. So I'm going to be putting it out. It's like 9 minutes long. And what happened when I was driving, I started to feel this energy and messages coming through to do with the divine feminine. And then I saw Eve on the license plate. And as soon as I saw Eve on the license plate, then I see the sign that says, I am tree. So I started receiving downloads to do with the tree of life and how it relates to what's happening, like literally what's happening right now. I mean, I see Eve on license plate almost every day, every other day or whatever. So I'm already aware, greater awareness of who I am. And so we think about ourselves there's so much messages and information going out there with how much we are integrating this cosmic aspect of ourselves. So if you've been feeling like everything is happening all at once, or that it seems crazy, or you feel like you can't get a handle on things, welcome to the club, because this is what it's like with how much more we're integrating this higher primordial aspect of ourselves and the earthly part of ourselves and the multidimensional aspect of ourselves. Is going to feel like you're angry, and then you're happy, you feel despondent, and you feel good, and it's like it's speeding up so quickly, Mike. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like I know some may be like ahead of it and some may be behind it, because some of them have been experiencing it already for the past few days, and then the next day you feel differently, but that's what I know is happening. Yeah, for sure.
Especially the concept of things speeding up for sure. Even this right now, like, this is really what's having you discern your experience. My computer right now is not responding, and I'm gonna fix this issue. Of course. Oh, I don't think this works on Mozilla.
Mozilla, you use Mozilla Godzilla?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I thought Mozilla was outdated. No?
I don't think it works on Mozilla like that.
That's Firefox, right?
Yeah, Firefox. Like, I'm using Google Chrome, and Google Chrome is what's frozen right now, which I just really don't think it's a coincidence that I'm wanting to break down this mutable square, and I'm getting hated on right now. But
you're not the only one. No, I don't really feel you're being hated on. No, seriously.
I'm playing the
There's so much subatomic energy. That's what I keep hearing. Like, I keep hearing everything to do with all of this energy that's flowing with all of us, especially because how much we're integrating so much of our higher self. So it's going to affect the electronic stuff. It really is. It's going to affect a lot of things.
I just took a class right now. Shout out to Darius. I just took a hoodoo class right now that was saying, you're 100% responsible for your experiences. Like, you can't necessarily blame, stuff thrown or whatever. But I don't know. Regardless, and with the whole issue of discernment as it stands, really stepping into a much greater understanding of knowing what it is you're seeing, because it's 6:44 p.m. right now, and it's like the more you personally tap in to your own divine connection, the more you're going to be led accordingly by these signs and synchronicities. And this is where deception, when it comes to sacred unions, is very important to navigate through, and it's going to be 100% independent on your intent, your desire. There's going to be so much heavy testing coming into this eclipse, as Pluto and Saturn need to test your motives to see if you want to be in the union for the right reasons, what you're bringing to the table. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was driving home today and I was like, wow, like, kind of feeling imposter syndrome. I was like, I don't think I'm really worthy of this union. I don't feel like I'm worthy of this union. Like, I want to be. I know on the surface I present this image, right? That I'm cool or whatnot. But I know a part of this too is like, me not wanting to embrace the connection, but like, it's heavy. Maybe it's also Saturn and Pluto on my moon, but It's
No, it
definitely
is heavy. It is heavy. I've been feeling the heaviness too myself. It make me feel like, because I know what it's like when you're pushing out a baby and it's so intense. Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, but when I hear you speaking about embracing your union, it's just because of how big it is. You know what I mean? You looking at something?
No, I'm I'm wanting to log into. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I pressed the wrong password. Okay. Um, let's get this. I'm gonna get in from another browser right now. Close it, open it, do the work. So I'm determined to now show you guys
Close
this.
it, open it, do the work. That's right.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
but
so like I was saying, that because it is big, for many of us this is very big, and it's like we really have to really think big, like supersizing ourselves, like how you have regular and you have medium. Now this is like we're in this energy of having all these simultaneous experiences, like usually, like the soul is used to, not the soul, the physical human being is used to, if you can just do it one at a time. Now it's like your quantum self is doing so many things all at once. And so what spirit was showing me in what I was receiving in the channel message is that you're experiencing the chaos and the calm at the same time. You know what I mean? I talk a lot about the chaos theory. So it's going to look like as if everything's against you and everything's for you, and it's like you're picking and choosing which side am I on, you know what I mean? And because of how big you are, Mike, it's like it comes in even greater than just one thing, you know what I mean? Or whatever that you're experiencing in your outer world, and it brings you to a greater surrender even with how big you are. You know what I mean? It's easy to embrace when you're smaller, right? But then when you're bigger, that's usually as it, because most of the time people on the planet are used to dumbing themselves down. Do you see what I'm saying? And because everything is speeding up so much, and I really feel like we're getting even more prepared greatly with what's coming through with the solstice. That's what I've been receiving that message so long, because of how much we're merging our earthly bodies and the primordial galactic parts of ourselves. So
ooh,
I feel, yeah. And when you think of solstice has to do, is representing what comes in the middle, what comes together. You know what I mean? It represents the longest day of the year, but also this is how much we're merging and integrating this galactic, uh, earthly parts of ourselves, and the multi-dimensional aspect of ourselves, and the inner balance of sacred, divine masculine and sacred divine feminine. Do you see how much stuff is going on all at once at a subatomic level? That's
so
what that's what this is.
so many layers indeed. And
It is.
I love that you bring up the primordial side, because that's definitely something that oh, the devil. All right, not today, Satan. Stop trying me. Stop trying me. Oh, devilish being you. Like, this is like, oh my God. Sharon, why is it like every time there has to be some interference? It's like,
I know.
it's
And
not,
every
it's
time
not your fault at all. It's like,
it's a
oh,
lot of energy. It's a lot of energy pulsating through our bodies, and it's what we can't see. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the light uh, part of ourselves is integrating the parts of ourselves that also goes against it. You know what I mean? And still, what goes against it, depending on how you look at it, it's really for you. You know what I mean? Because it's like we're amplifying the greatness by experiencing the not so greatness. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a risk here. I'm gonna close this and then come back on.
Okay, it's a big risk.
It's a huge
It's a
risk.
mathematical risk. No, it's not. See?
Google Chrome is not responding. I
Oh, wow.
I will be right back, guys.
Okay. I'll hold the fort and see what happens.
Wish me luck.
Yes. I'll still be here. Okay, we're still on. Yay!
Thank God. Looks like the other one did show up too.
Which other
Goodbye.
one?
The other me that didn't
You're at the
necessarily
bottom.
show up. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we have this square, which is changing things. But I almost want God, okay, so you guys see how like Jupiter's here and Gemini's here and Neptune's here,
It's
right?
blurry. Mike, it's blurry.
Really? Okay, let me
Blurry to me.
what about now?
Well, I see it better on the phone than I guess. Desktop is blurry.
Yeah, well, okay. I'm gonna have to actually decline this, but yeah, so we have this cross, and then on the 9th, bam, it's like we have an exact cross. Maybe like later in the day, but mark the 9th down in your calendars, the day Venus enters this 2020 portal, and really now enacts this magical cross, which is also going to tap into this conjunction to the node. And yeah, I'm purposefully leaving out details because, of course, the only Virgo energy that we'll have is the moon. So if I were to if I was to preface details, it could highly alter how you're going to see it, where you really just want to walk into this moment open and then analyze on the spot with what you're receptive to. But the way I see this is your whole life is changing. It's not going to change. It's changing right now.
It's happening.
It's happening. There we go. Mutable signs that are happening. I'm going to make a video coming up soon about how to tell if you have loyalty in the zodiac chart. And, you know, loyalty is evidenced by fixed signs. Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo. And as I say, royalty in the zodiac is Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. This is why they say loyalty is royalty. So that blew my mind today. And yeah, the more fixed sign energy you have, the more loyal you are. And right now, there's no Scorpio at all. There's no Aquarius at all. There's no Leo at all. I mean, the moon's there, but it's the moon.
You're talking about right now. You're talking about right now.
We only have Taurus. So there's so much changeable energy based on this loyal grounding with Uranus here in Taurus and Venus coming out of here. So keep that in mind, because when it comes to the grounding that you have, the way that you perceive your current reality is changing forever. And we know this because you're having these crazy psychic experiences that are quantifying, you know, you hearing energy non-locally and seeing things that, you know, kind of seem too coincident, like they can't be coincidence, right? This working, bridging, huge, slow but surely blending and merging of all realities through Neptune and Pisces that started 2012 is now reaching a peak point. And this is really like, you know how you walk into the mall and you go to those oscillating doors? I kind of see that as like an oscillating door, which is a horrible analogy.
You remember when I said to you, Mike, how it when I was speaking with you, and I said I kept seeing the spiraling loop type of thing, and the way how they show it to me, it's like we're being sucked into the spiraling thing like a vacuum, and that's why things are seeming like in some cases it's speeding up, and in some cases it's like we're in slow motion, and that's why we feel so exhausted. Like I really have been feeling so exhausted. Then I lay in the bed, then I'm like, oh, I can't sleep, and then it's like then I'm exhausted again. So I kind of, that's how I kind of, can describe what it's like in the physical, in the human physical terms.
Very well
Mhm.
said. It's a good analogy, because it is bringing us closer to a center point.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
it's just
vortex. It's a vortex. It's like a certain type of vortex, they're saying. It's a massive vortex of energy. And
yeah.
then there's this electromagnetic pulse that's happening. Because I think they said, I don't really pay attention to it as much, but sometimes I get these notifications to do with the electromagnetic pulse that's flowing through to Earth or something. So it's like your body, your mental, emotional state is responding to these pulsation as well. So that's why it's important to stay as positive as you can with what you're experiencing. You know what I mean?
Oh, so key, so key. Yes, stay in an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Stay positive. When I think vortex, I think Abraham Hicks. Great period to just play Abraham Hicks material, because this energy is so perceptual that your attitude and behavior and the whole fact that you are being watched right now. Because if we, and I don't mean so in the sense of, and this is the whole purpose of this, by the way. It's not really I'm paranoid, like I'm being watched or spied on. It's the whole observer effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, you exist.
Yeah.
Someone's observing you. They're beings, they're galactic beings that exist, whether subatomically or whether as constructs that may not have physical form as we see it, but still interact with you. Still, you interact with it. When this is happening, what this mutable sign cross is doing is finally taking advantage of like the 7 years Neptune, 6.5 years Neptune has been in Pisces, and is now going to really give you a great understanding of the meaning of the signs and the synchronicities you've been seeing. I mean, some of these signs are so powerful. At this point, it's really hard to deny. And what's giving the meaning is Jupiter and Sagittarius. So you have to really keep in mind that there is a galactic observer that is watching you right now. You're in your reality. We're living in this dimension.
Many of them, Mike.
What was that?
I said many of them.
Many of them. Yes, many of them. And like, you're interacting with this plane, 3D, 5D, whatever D you want to call it, and you have this directional focus, and yet in an adjacent plane, just like you're experiencing this reality, there is, whether it's behind a veil or just adjacent or just with beings that vibrate too fast for your cornea to pick up, you're being observed. Like, there are beings that are looking into your reality.
Yes. Like when the FBI is watching you through the glass door. The glass window.
You can't see into the glass window, but they can see past it, right?
Right. But what's changing, what I'm hearing, because as you're speaking, I'm receiving downloads. It's like some of you, because this has happened with me and it happened with Charlize, some of you may start to see like shadows passing by, because that's how much the veil is getting thinner, that you're going to be able to sense the presence of the other beings in the same, because what happens is on the other side, the frequency is a little higher, and we're on the same plane, but the frequency is higher. So you're going to be able to be attaining to that frequency by either hearing or seeing or feeling the presence of these beings. You see what I'm saying? So I have the ability to feel them, and I've seen the shadow, and I can hear them. Yeah.
Same here. With my experience, and I like to believe I have limited awareness. I have very incredible soul power, but I have limited awareness, and I'm working to bridge those. And even with my limited awareness, like I can sense clearly that I'm not alone, that I'm being observed, that I'm hearing.
With that thing, you weren't alone.
Glitches and pieces, and I can see like flash insights of like, and it made me realize maybe this energy is moving so fast, like I only see like a glimpse, because that's as quick as my subconscious can tell. Or, you know, this could be totally internal, and I'm seeing images of my own subconscious flash and express themselves, or maybe reflect energy that's being brought towards me. This is all up in the air. This is all hypothetical. This is all coming into completion, where now we're stepping into definite answers. Of course, because we're stepping out the Gemini portal and we're moving into Virgo. And the closer we move into Virgo season, the more answers that we're getting. So Kanye West said Sway didn't have the answers. Well, Sway got the answers now. Sway has the answers now. And these answers are going to shock you, because there's what you see, there's what you project, there's how you perceive what is, and then there's really what is.
And then how you interpret it too, right? Which is probably basically the same. Interesting. Yeah. So here's what I'm also hearing, okay? I know it seems like we're off the topic of the topic, right? But okay, like how on the other side the frequency is faster, like it's faster. And when we incarnate, the vibration slows down. So the reason why everything feels like it's so all happening all at once, because now we are meeting into the vibration of where it is on the other side with all of our galactic family. Because even if I try to separate where they're all coming from, I'm hearing Andromedan is right here with us now, because they're here. I see them and I feel them all around connecting to us. And I'm hearing the Arcturians. I'm also hearing Palladian, Assyrian. There's also this huge vortex that has been opened up, which is technically still kind of the Andromedan, but it's like they're saying it's like it's connected so strongly to the Milky Way. So if you've been feeling like your solar plexus is on fire a lot, not literally, but you know what I mean, it's all of that, what is coming in so strongly with how much we're speeding up. Because like me personally, oh boy, sometimes when I'm talking to people, Mike, it's like they're so slow. Like, can you hurry up, please? And it's like I feel like I don't have as much patience listening to when people speak and they're so slow, and you could feel their vibration feeling slow, or it's like they're not able to understand what you're saying, and you're finding yourself repeating what you're saying or something. You'll be able to tell how much your frequency is at, how you're connecting to other people. And this is a part of where it may seem like we're separating dimensions, but you'll know that you're in that higher dimensional state compared to others that are still like in that 3D sense of slow, the duality, and how they speak and what they say. And you might feel yourself wanting to disconnect more, from people that are like that, or, wherever they're at consciously. Yeah.
That slow you down, and that really like don't a lot, almost at a subtle or direct way, just kind of like disalign with you, or not that it has to be all about you, but it's almost as if like the more authentic you are, the more friction there is. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I would say so, because it's like we're still going to sort of interact with certain people, but then there's also certain people that's going to fall off your radar, and this is a part of the process, and they may come back if they choose to move into that direction of where they are in consciousness. But in some cases, what I'm noticing in my outer reality is that you could feel the energy of some of those that are slowed down, and they're not able to align with where you're at energetically. Do you know what I mean? And because of the fact of how much things are speeding up more and more, everything else around you is going to appear as if it's falling apart, even in their reality as well, because we're creating it. So just remember, it may seem as if it's something negative, but it's not negative. It's because we're here. Again, the bigger picture is that we're here to break down the energy of what is no longer going to serve Mother Gaia or Mother Earth, with what is coming for her to get with us moving into the 7th dimension. You see what I'm saying? So this is why within this whole week, it has been so, like, I don't know how to describe it in words, but it felt so dense, heavy, like you're tired, exhausted, especially exhaustion and fatigue, feeling fatigue type of energy. And then you feel like you have energy, and then you don't have energy. That's how. So I just wanted to explain that to you, so you know that it's from that scientific standpoint what it means during the course of this ascension, and exactly during this time frame because of us coming up into the solstice equinox energy. You see? And don't forget, we're also in the eclipse energy. So the energy of the eclipse is also playing a part in some things that are leaving out of your life or being very emotionally intense. Yep.
And
Yeah.
what's a good way to perceive the seventh dimension compared to like the
The seventh dimension is like when you're feeling like you're closer to a greater. I close my eyes, they're showing me you're in a greater inner peace. You're feeling excitement. You're feeling excitement, like you know something's about to happen, and you start to feel like a lot of things are coming closer and closer into your reality, even if you don't see it. So it's like you're in a even greater co-creative energy, is what they're saying. And there's much more of yourself that's merging with everything, you know. And this is where you're co-creating with not necessarily physically doing anything. So this is how, you know, it's like they're saying we're not like at a high percent in the seventh dimension as yet. Not yet. I feel like that's going to come more in the 20s, like 2021, 2020, you know, like maybe around that time frame. I can't really tell. They're not showing me that because they're saying we're like 2% opening up of that energy being in the seventh dimension, because we're just barely in the fifth dimension right now. Okay, we're there. We're in that fifth dimension, yeah. And I feel like the seventh, okay, so they're saying when we're closer to the seventh dimension has to do with a lot of us that are in physical union with our beloveds. We are bringing in that template, and they're showing it to me like something is going to crack wide open like an egg. Okay.
wow.
Yeah, so and that's how they're showing it to me, like something splitting. That's where it's going to feel like something is really splitting this time from the old ways, and we're more templating the new ways, the new heaven on earth, and where it's sustained. And it's like a peace. They're showing it to me like it's going to feel, you feel more peace than you do calamity. Does that make sense? That's that. Instead of like how we're experiencing duality, still we're still experiencing, you feel peace and you feel annoyed and irritated. So again, it's almost like when you're rewinding, we're rewinding back to the original state of who we are. And that means as you're going backwards, we're working through all of the distortions and belief systems and the generational stuff and the womb healing, and all of that as we're going back and forth into that. So don't beat yourself up if you find yourself feeling like, oh, I'm back to how I'm thinking before, because remember, you're rewinding back to centuries of energy that started from your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, going way back. And it's like you're pushing through that vortex, and it just feels like how we're sucking through it like a vacuum, and think of it just like a baby. When the baby's gonna be born, that energy itself has to keep pushing you through, and that's why you may feel all of this energy flowing through your body that's uncomfortable. Yep, that's what it's like.
I feel like the most amazing part about your answer was that you answered it immediately. The first thing you did was suspend rational thought and speak a different language, which I think might be pulling energy from that dimension.
I'm pulling energy, and now, yeah, I'm open. It started from when I saw the Eve on the license plate, and then and then everything was flowing. I was already the ancient light language was flowing through even before I started speaking in words. It's sometimes it gets, even when you know how much more we're more in the fifth dimension with this, is you finding it more difficult to come up with words. Like the words just can't describe it.
Words just get in the way.
Yeah. And it can't, because it's like when you get into the words, it's like your brain starts to think. But when you stay in the feeling of it, it feels lighter, and it feels it's like it's more expansive. Like you feel like you're expanding with it, rather than with words and sentences and paragraphs. It's almost like it brings you back down again.
I noticed that with freestyling. Like if I try and freestyle and write a rap and try and rhyme and make it clap, and it's like in trying to like rhyme it, I don't really flow. And sometimes like what spirit has been pushing me to do is to just kind of almost like mumble rap. That way I feel more the feeling. It's like, and I'm going, and it's like I can let my soul flow more instead of trying to like make it sound all like cool and everything.
And the other thing too is that, you know, get into the practice with those around you with telepathy. Because even sometimes, like, even when I'm talking to the kids, I get frustrated because I can't get the word out. And I'm like, so what I say to them, I said, well, feel into me what you feel I'm saying. And then they feel into it and they know what I'm saying without me having to say the words. Because the telepathy is where we're moving into that frequency of feeling the language of the soul. And even if I say something in another, you know, light language or ancient tone, you get the feel of what your soul is, my soul is communicating with you into what is occurring rather than trying to rationalize it with the words. You see what I'm saying? Because words is when we started to break things down. And when we stay into the frequency of tones and colors and vibration, it's higher. And it doesn't lock itself into just one meaning. It expands into so many different, you know, interpretations, but it's not heavy. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hearing.
And now that we have effectively bridged, or rather, crossed the bridge into a deeper understanding of who we are and how to utilize this energy, it's time to share this with others. And it's time to activate specific connections with, you know, the people who you've been, the archetypes of people who you've been drawn to for so long. Melissa Smith, yeah, I didn't realize that was the light language of me wanting to come out. Because it's very third house Cancer. It's very, and that also makes me think you really are Taurus rising, because like, you know, third house Cancer would literally be like talking with your body and your emotions, like one. It's hard for me as a Gemini to not use words and like do that, but yeah, it's definitely.
Do you see how you're moving your body? That's also a language.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's how I started realizing how my Capricorn moon talks, especially for those of you with like Neptune and Uranian contacts in earth signs. It's getting freaky. It's like I'm starting to be aware of my mind's impulse versus my body, which are at odds, and like really learning to surrender to this energy. But yeah, this is where you start to be psychic with your partner. I just spoke to shout out to Spiritual Path Podcast, who I just did a synastry report for. It was an amazing synastry report. Make sure you get synastry reports from me, because I give one of the best synastry reports. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just love it.
Come on, man. Toot your horn.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what we're all about. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the telepathy is increasing. Like there's soul contacts you have with people, and I don't want to make this strictly romantic, but like just soul connections that you have with people.
Make it romantic. I want to hear it. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
I said yes. Make it romantic.
No. There's romantic connotations, but I just kind of want to express that you're going to definitely see this apply in, like, you know, significant relationships to you. And this is where we now step into having other people be a reference point and context for us to practice our psychic abilities. And like Blue Frame Integration said, own your divinity. And the thing about owning your divinity is that the 12th house undoes your identity. You start off at the first, you go around, come back to the 12, step into yourself in an effort to surrender your old identity and become a new divine being, which is easier said than done. You know what I mean? But
tell me about it.
Yeah. And this is why, you know, it's, for example, like, it's already happening. I had one of the best readings again I've ever had yesterday with Sharon, and like,
let me toot my horn. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I didn't have to tell And I love that. I love that this is very much so a Piscean and Aquarian power. Shout out to Karen, who might be watching. Same thing that happened with her a long time ago. But yeah, like the first thing Sharon brings up is directly what I've been obsessed with, kind of harnessing for the past few weeks. And she did this before in the first reading I did. Make sure you get a reading from her. But yeah, this is where like people who you have energetic connections with, they're linked with your energy. People who are on your north node, south node, like your greater awareness of who you are is now allowing you to see who is who. And trust me when I say, don't look at people as your enemy. This is not a really good time to like beef with people because it's a waste of time. And you may think you're beefing with that person when you're really beefing with a facet of that person that might not represent who they really are. And
exactly.
so during the testing period, you could say some really messed up things to people, and then things could clear, but you can't take back those words. So just kind of hold space in non-judgment. Those of you who are okay with being disliked during this period, you want to have such good self-control that people can make fun of you, vent, completely try and piss you off, and it doesn't shake your inner peace because you see through it. It's like this is purely meant to trigger.
Well, it's their own inner wounds that they have to look at, Mike. So you might find yourself triggering others that don't want to look at themselves at what's reflecting from them. You see what I'm saying? And then sometimes they project onto you their own inner wounds. So it doesn't make sense to attach to anyone that's still maybe in their own pain or however they deal with things. Because again, sometimes people turn to something external when they don't want to. So it's either someone or something that they're covering up inside. So that's why, as Mike is saying, don't take it personal and don't use your energy to keep being in a combative place. You know what I'm saying? And also remember that they incarnated to be who they are, so you can observe what is in that subconscious place in energy, so we make it conscious. You see? So, yeah.
And just like Sadie said, be a living fire. Transmute that energy into love.
Into love. Yep.
So it's definitely great to cover bases in that sense. I do want to bring up this fixed cross that's occurring right now because it's really just hard to put into words this subtle but highly influential perceptive gate we're passing through. And this is going to happen like 2 more times. When we go into Virgo season, we're going to now have the same cross, but instead of this way, it's going to be whoosh, with a Virgo and Pisces and then Sagittarius. And this is the difference between stepping into this cross, coming into revelations that answer the question what, into 3 months from now, which is going to answer the question how. And then eventually 3 months from then, what this all means. So, I mean, we've all wanted so much answers as this kind of, steps into more so a deep understanding of what the hell you're going through. And you're really going to get this. But one thing you also want to keep in mind, none of this energy is stable. There's really no energy right now to define outright what is real. So it's going to be easy, especially Geminis and Sagittariuses, Pisces, with the Neptune contacts right now. It's going to be easy to look delusional. It's going to be like other people reasonably are going to be on the outside looking in, not being able to like understand why you act the way you act. And this isn't an excuse, but I'm saying this because some of you are acting super uncharacteristic. So it seems, right? You're kind of really this is really hard to talk about, because when it comes to the issue of deviancy, when it comes to the issue of just being like irrational and not really being normal, this is an avenue not for escape, but to recalibrate your energy and intent. So the like, there's no Virgo. There is no energy right now. And that's the most controversial thing about astrology. Astrology is inherently controversial. It's Aquarian. So like, because of postmodernism, you know, because of political correctness, there are aspects of the zodiac signs that people don't interpret correctly because you're not allowed to say certain things. Take how dulled, and it affects people for real. Take how dulled down Aries is. Aries is supposed to be brash and fucking vulgar and scratching his balls and taking his fucking shirt off and not giving a goddamn fuck and just freaking throwing shit around.
Like that.
What was that?
I said, but I'm like that. Do I have Aries in my chart?
Well, you're...
Maybe 2 degrees of Aries. I don't know. But
I mean, Aquarius is like Aries, so it's not really. But the thing is, like, you can't do that now. Like, it squares Capricorn.
That's not true. We can.
You can. My bad. You really can, and that's true. You really can. But it comes with a consequence. It squares Capricorn. It opposes Libra. Like, there's rules Capricorn put in place for a certain polishing Libra of class based on how others feel, so that you're not just doing your own thing at the expense of others, and there's balance. But it's like the fundamental qualities of the signs have been diluted. You know what I mean? Gemini is not really what Gemini truly represents. Aquarius is not really.
I think because we're switching, Mike. That's what I feel. I feel that there's so much integration with all of this that is switching, and I feel that Capricorn is moving its way into having to bend with the difference with how we do things. You see what I'm saying? And how we're able to be our true, authentic selves. I mean, it's like, when I think about, like, I remember, I think one time you were talking about if you're in the supermarket or something, and if you can find yourself singing in there, well, guess what? Not only do I sing, I dance. And I start chanting and speaking in ancient languages and tones and stuff like that. It's like being in your own freedom and not having to hide anymore. That even if you're in the crowd and you're different than the crowd, that you're going to allow yourself to expand and be everything that you are desiring to be and to do. That we're like literally spreading our wings big time.
So much so. I mean, the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, and we're in a period now where centuries of programming, social faux pas, social norms, they're all dying. They're done. And it's not like just being transformed. There's a finality to this, because last time I don't think we had Saturn with Pluto in Capricorn. And if you think about the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, Capricorn represents rules. When you talk about being normal, you're not talking about air. Air is logical, but air is supposed to be weird. It's different. You're not talking about water. Water is inherently strange. It's mysterious. You're not talking about fire. Fire is passionate. Fire can be very weird because it just burns which way. You're talking about earth, because earth sets the structure. Earth sets the rules with what works, so that we can purposefully build systems that normalize things. The last time Pluto was in Capricorn, like, I literally saw a billboard right now that said the new normal, because people are buying marijuana, and that's not what used to be normal, right? It's an amazing slogan for MedMen. But the last time Pluto was in Capricorn, people's whole world changed. What used to be normal was, pledging allegiance to a monarchy and paying taxes, and that whole world changed. That wasn't normal anymore, and people kind of had to adjust. So, like, there is literally no energy. Like, a lot of people are stressed because it's hard to take that leap, because a lot of people are still caught up in that pretentious illusion of control, peace, and order. Like, there is nothing transiting the zodiac right now that supports being normal in any way, shape, or form, or constituting any sense of normality. Everything is pushing you to be weird. So these transits are pushing you to not even try and control your energy, to be delusional, to be outright not like there's no Virgo. Virgo is what sorts out the perception of reality so you can analyze details to align with what's right, with what is conventionally normal, which ultimately is decided upon, Capricorn, by a conglomerate, a system. But that system is getting its ass kicked. It's dying with Pluto. There's nothing in Virgo. Uranus and Taurus is literally revolutionizing our stability. So everything else we have is Neptune and Pisces. And this is why, like, and Jupiter and Sag, these are irrational energies, philosophical, perceptual energies. And this is why people are venting towards people like us who refuse to live normal and deviate from this, because it's reflecting this impulse back at them. Everyone is feeling themselves slipping away. There's a greater madness vibration, and it's fear that's going to make you feel like you have to hold on to this stability of what's normal, and to fear being different, and to fear expressing your eccentricities, versus some people go way too left field. And it's not fear.
So fast. You said it's only go way too late.
That's bias on my part. That's just according to me. That's not like we truly be doing so. But yeah.
But this is the thing. When I have these conversations with God all the time, like, look, what may be normal to one may not be normal to the other. Do you know what I'm saying? What may be for me personally, I have seen the most outrageous, outlandish things that human beings could ever do and be on this planet. Nothing surprises me. So imagine when we come into this greater superpower of ourselves, what that's going to look like. I don't even want to imagine it. You know what I mean? Because when you think about it now, from the beginning of time, remember that things were out of order, so to speak, right? So then all these rules and structures were put into place when they talk about the Anunnaki that came, whoever came, and then they brought order to the world, and structures and all these things started to be put into place, and teachings and all that stuff. So now again, we're rewinding back to what is this going to look like, right? What is this going to look like in the higher dimensional place, in the physical world? Again, it's about how much we are being in our own sovereignty, authentically, okay, and that we're able to build conscious communities where there's freedom to be able to be who you are, freedom of expression, right? And that you're honoring yourself and honoring others, but you're not like compromising yourself anymore. So however, if you want to have purple hair, green hair, if you want to change your eye color, wear pants, no pants, nothing to do with whether you what gender specific or who you love. I mean, this is a lot of radical stuff way beyond that's going to take place. You know what I mean? You're going to be combining things that you've never combined before. We're merging all of our personalities. And think about it. We've been every single zodiac sign throughout many lifetimes, right? We've had many personalities. We've had many type of positions of power and no power. So it's like now it's like we're bringing it all into a greater balance on earth. We're starting from within ourselves, where we're not nitpicking and singling it out and, dissecting anymore. So it's just letting it be free. You know what I'm saying? And the way that I put it simply, when you are breathing in air, do you think about it? No, you just breathe, right? So who you are, don't try not to go into the mental space too much about who you choosing or desiring to be or what you desire to be. Just be it, and let your soul just continue to lead the way and all the different higher aspects of self. Okay, because if you keep stopping to explain yourself to someone with how different you are or why are you doing this, you're just wasting your time. It's just a waste of time. So I just say that we're going to be letting go of a lot of what we call normalcy. And it's going to be more like eccentrically.
We're entering a whole age of eccentricism.
Yes.
Where it's like maybe the eccentric energy is like here, and it's about to peak up like boom and be like the new normal. And it's gonna take like a good 2-3 years for people to get used to, because it's a lot. Some people are not going to be, especially those who have Pluto Leo and it's opposite their Pluto. It's like, this is too much. Versus like a Pluto Sag, like, oh, I can get used to this, or Pluto Scorpio that's like, whoa, you know what I mean? So, or Pluto Libra that's like, oh, But let me not get too much into that. Uranus and Taurus is breaking this in high key, like Chad said, so true. And when it comes to the mechanics of soul food, no, when it comes to the mechanics of really stepping into your superpowers, let's say, you have to remember, and I'm guilty of this, we're so used to being in the and I'm not going to be talking about superpowers forever. Like once we step into 2021, it's no longer about superpowers. It's all about community building. It's all about taking your superpowers and building new communities, connecting with people, actually gaining knowledge past this atmosphere. So it's definitely the direct utilization and manifestation of it. But the thing is, Saturn's and Pluto, like this is direct focal point. Saturn's and Pluto's in Capricorn. So a lot of people are trying to do this new thing in the old way. And this is why we're having this perceptual cross right now, because you have to surrender the reason why, like Sharon said, you have to connect with the primordial. You have to connect with the celestial being who can guide you, because you cannot, not many of you, myself included, cannot really perceive beyond this. We have to be guided. This is where our relationship with these beings become more real, in the sense where a lot of you stepping into this greater freedom are like slaves who, right after the 13th Amendment hit, didn't know what to do, because all they have known their whole life was being a slave.
Yes.
Working for someone. So you tell them they're free and they're like, I don't even know how to read. Like, what?
Yes. Remember when slavery did supposedly end anyway? So they say when it ended, they were still enslaved, because then they purposely were held back from not being able to work, or they weren't qualified to vote. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
yeah. Impediments. And well said, like, and these impediments work spiritually too. So it's like you've activated superpowers, but there are no systems set in place to facilitate that. If anything, the system set in place, and I don't want to diss the system because it is going through its natural evolution, but the systems set in place are meant to suppress you. Like, you may not know you're free right now. You do not need to work a job to make a living, but you may feel like you have to. Similar to a slave that's like, what am I going to do? I don't understand what the concept of freedom means, because I spent my whole life a slave. So you're telling me I'm free, but I don't know what that means. And that's what Jupiter and Sag is like, oh, well, let me show you. Because Jupiter in Sagittarius is all about freedom. And what freedom is raw impulse, uninhibited. They do say that with control, you can have more freedom, but true raw freedom is being able to really do anything with no limits.
No limits, and not giving any fucks. You see?
At all.
No. Can't. If you start giving it away, then you're back into that slavery energy. You see? And it's not only just not knowing the freedom, but walking it now, like really embodying what this freedom means. And it takes guts to start walking it, especially if it's never done before with anybody in your family. Or if you're married and your spouse is not in agreement, are you going to walk away then from that and continue on your freedom path? You're going to have all this opposition, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to just walk daintily only. We came to tear this motherfucker down. So yes, we're breaking down the system and we're rebuilding it in a new way. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not all of this boxed in type of energy, like you could only do this and be that and that. Let me tell you something. It's like I feel like we're all going to be creating little pockets of different types of freedom, and especially preparing for those children that are coming in with that rebel energy as well. Because I'm telling you, get prepared is coming in, that rebel energy, and I'm for them. Trust me when I tell you, I'm for them. Rebel is my middle name as well.
The Pluto Capricorn, Pluto Sag, Pluto Capricorn, and Pluto Aquarius children are going to lead this world into effective activism. These are the ones you're going to see protest against government authority in general, actually show you how to change the system from within, or, destroy it. But the thing here is, with this energy, once again, it's very important that you inhibit yourself, because if you think about the key here is Pisces. Thank God for you, Pisces. The fact that y'all exist, Pisces moon, we have to really thank y'all. As mischievous as the sign may be, it's a fog. It doesn't seem clear. So from the outside looking in, you look delusional because you're not guiding yourself or aligning yourself with normal, traditional, rigid, fixed, stable guidelines that are is fading away anyway. Like, they'll always exist, but there's not much relevancy. It's going to look like you don't know what you're doing, but you're strengthening your connection with the divine. So you're not delusional, but you're interacting with an energy that is not in any obligation to make sense. Like, Pisces is going to just experience something just because, even though this is the same energy of, discerning why. You know what I mean? So I say this because it does apply to the North Node. I say this because, some of you may be beating yourself up because you're not making sense when you're not supposed to make sense. Like, you're creating.
Excuse me, Mike. I don't mean to interrupt you, but Tiki Love, look what she wrote.
Athena and oh my God. And North Node in the fish.
What are the chances? What are the chances?
Really? Like, out of all asteroids, what are the,
And then I see it, and the chances that I see it. Oh my God. Woo! Spirit is something else.
Really?
Wow.
Shout out to Athena.
Shout out to Athena.
Yeah.
Shout out to Athena.
Athena's my ride or die. So if you messing with me, you messing with Athena, and you don't want to mess with
Athena. That's right.
Yeah. I got her in Gemini. That's checkmate. The thing is, like, I'm not, it's weird because I'm not really telling you to just go full fishtard and be devoid of all rationality in your life and not make sense. It's just, I'm telling you to go full fishtard and be devoid of any rationality and not make sense. And not be afraid of it, and actually trust and believe in yourself that your intuition is not just guiding you in circles, because now this is in protection. You have beings that analyze and predict your movements. And so they'll get mad if you're not being predictable, and they'll call you delusional if they cannot really read. They'll have ulterior motives and act like, oh, you're not being normal. That's because they want to predict what you're going to do so that they can feel stable. That's why people don't really appreciate unpredictability when they would rather, want consistency, right? This is what creates stability in relationships. So we think, but this is where, you want to champion irrationality here. And this is because a lot of you need to forget what you know.
Yes.
What's holding so many of you back is what you know.
Yes.
Everything that you know is a system of knowledge based on the findings of human beings, whether true or not, whether real or not. In fact, some of it limits you because it's right. A lot of the information is right, and because it's right, you chain yourself to it.
Yes.
And some of you, this is why children are magical, because they just experience energy. They're not critically thinking about it. And I'm a huge proponent of critical thinking. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't think critically, but children do not think critically. So
they just do. They don't rationalize it. And then, it's like when someone starts speaking and saying certain things, what I say is, well, where did that come from? Who taught you that, or where is it coming from within you? That do you know now that you can step outside of that and shape shift your world into something different, that even if it goes against the norm or what you've been taught or whatever, because it's not working for you. I always say that when you know something is working for you personally, how do you feel inside? That's why that connection that you're having to that feminine energy, how you're feeling, and that connection you have to the divine through this energy is what's going to be the norm, instead of the logical thing. And oh well, my grandmother did this, and oh well, the teacher said this. And you know that there are a lot of children that are rebelling with teachers also. I wouldn't want to be the teacher right now, seriously. There are students that are starting to rebel even more. Their teachers, because it's the curriculum and all that stuff is boring them. You know, they're
Because
just
at a deep soul level, they realize that, and the education system, even though it could be way better, we have to pay homage for how they have developed, because you know the advance, even though that's debatable, like there are educators who don't like the state of the education system, but we still need to get homage, because you know they still instituted curriculum, but these younger children are realizing at a deep soul level that it's just not the way. Like they're spending time that could be spent elsewhere. While all this kind of, I see Pluto star like revolutionizes, transforms the advent of online schooling and homeschooling. And Chad said to watch the Matrix trilogy to kind of see how the aspect between Uranus and Saturn, which we're seeing work together now in trining, which is really interesting, where systems can really, you know, help entrepreneurs come into more technological, radical ways to make money, make a living. The thing here is, you know, as you develop your energy, you know what I mean? No child loves school, like Luna Bear said, right? Who wants to have to...
Like Charlize can't stand her can't stand school. Oh my gosh. And to even not only that, but it's like we're bored, you know, like we're really, really ready for the next level. I know I am, you know, seriously ready for the next level. And even like the more you start to awaken and connect to these energies and how they're flowing right now, it's like most of us are just ready for the next step. So just know that when you go to the next step, again, it's going to appear like other people may be against, and they may not say anything to you, because some of them may start to back off, because this is a part of you being in your power. You see, it's like you're being in your power with who you are, and whether or not the changes, and even if it looks like someone is going to try to stop you, that's just that part of you that's testing yourself. Are you going to proceed, or are you going to falter? You see?
Amen. And this is where we get juicy now, and really now them love aliens, because the way that, because there's going to be such a revive. This year is revival year. Like people are going to church. People are going to catch the spirit this year. People are going to look at each other and see each other in each other's reflection. And the way the dark forces are going to get in the way is a lot of deception with twin flame rhetoric, soulmate rhetoric, and be very careful about people who are fixated on results. The twin flame journey, the sacred partner journey, is not about the destination. It's not about getting with the person. It's about fostering your spiritual connection with the divine, no matter what form that takes. So the how to discern a true sacred partnership is that this partnership, shout out to Ralph Smart, one of the GOATs, it's not a Coca-Cola relationship. It's a water relationship. Are you with people that nourish you? Are you with people that encourage you to be better, that call you out on your BS, that actually align you with your path? Or are you with people who distract you from that? Are you distracting other people from that? You know what I mean? Like, this is so important, because you're all going to start getting so much closer and so much more intimate with individuals that now have you directly connect with people that you were blocked from. Chiron and Pisces blocked you from certain soulmates. Even people that you're with, it's just a connection that you weren't able to transcend because there was still so much healing that needed to be done outside this realm. And now it's in Aries. Now you're directly dealing with these people. Now you're patching up miscommunications. Now you're directly confronting people who, you know, may have never liked you this entire time, and you're starting to see it in their actions, and you're having to really, like, you know, act accordingly or follow suit. Don't take any of this personally, though, because this is really just setting the new grid for the new template. So the reason why discernment in relationships is so important is there's a subtle energy shift. And the way to kind of perceive this awakening is that you're already there. Shout out to Darius one more time. He said that your higher self is the version of you that has already achieved all their goals. All you need to do is tap into that part of yourself and draw it down here. So
Yes.
the whole notion of people stepping into their higher selves and connecting with their partners, I guess the best way of talking about a sacred partnership is a partnership where both of you hold space to become each other's higher selves and really draw down these pipelines of energy and your multidimensional self and different aspects of yourself, and to see yourself as not just one being, and to not limit yourself with just having one person. Now, this is hard, especially for some fixed signs to kind of accept. Like, you do not just have one personality. We know this is not true because there are different realms of existence. You have a mental realm, you have an emotional self, you have a physical self, and you're learning to bridge
an etheric self as well. The etheric body comes in before the physical. That's how everything starts to translate in energy from one realm to the next.
And the dimensional space is switching so much. You have established knowledge. Established knowledge is knowledge that has been researched over years. Okay, there's a reason why a PhD or master's student can put someone in check and they are an authority when it comes to medicine, when it comes to law, because the knowledge that they have worked hard to achieve is based off of years of research, is based off of years of experience, clinical testing and study, and like established knowledge based off of what? Capricorn, 12th house, a system that works. Well, guess what? Pluto's going into Aquarius, and that is the death of established knowledge as we know it. So some of you are bridging in information. Case in point, astrology. I don't have a master's degree. I don't have a PhD. And yet I'm breaking down science at higher levels in biology and physics. And that clashes with established knowledge that says astrology is pseudoscientific. We're starting to see different systems come in. Some of you are bridging new knowledge. Some of you are channeling different knowledge while the older order is kind of ending. And you know, there's a way that this can transition where it still applies, but we're stepping into a whole new reality. So this is not really easy to go through. A lot of people who were born in the 80s and 70s are realizing the hard work or 90s, the hard work they stepped into getting their master's or PhD. First of all, it's everything to find a job. You know what I mean?
It takes up all your money. You know, go into debt and more debt. You're going DEBHT and DEAT because some people take it so to heart. It's like they're dying just because of all of the things that they've had to put out there just to get one thing, to be enslaved again into another element again. You know what I mean?
And so, I was gonna say I had an upper division circuits class before I like switched out electrical engineering, and they just looked at us and it's like, yeah, you guys were lied to. You guys were told that you get a bachelor's degree in engineering and you're going to have a job. And that's just not true. I know master's holding degree engineers that are fighting for jobs. And it's just so much like it's not even so much oversaturation as opposed to, you know, the emerging awareness of what's possible. And if you're too focused in the real world, you're going to miss it. Everyone's so focused on what's happening for real. It's keeping them stuck, but we don't have energy there. That doesn't mean that you need to neglect it. It's easy for me to say because this part of my chart is empty. Like I don't focus there. I don't go out. I don't really connect with people. My birth card is the Hermit. So people are like, don't be a hermit. Don't be a hermit. But they don't realize like that's inherently part of my life path. Like I'm not just a hermit because I don't want to connect with people.
For now. Yes.
I mean, Jupiter's in my 7th, so now
Because
I'm going up. Like
when that feminine energy, when you even connect more to that feminine energy, I guarantee I could feel it that you're going to be coming out. They're saying you're going to be coming out of that hermit mode. Okay, so for now you're in the cocoon stage still. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
So
you're right, because like Jupiter is in my 7th, so I'm at the stage where I'm now coming out and connecting with people over the next 6 years, and then
yes.
I'll go back under. But you know, a lot of this energy is geared towards spending time with yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
And
It's important.
It's the one thing so many people are afraid of. Spending time with themselves. Shout out to those of you who did the soul work and did that. I earned my stride.
And sit with yourself, you know, to be able to sit with yourself, you know. Yeah. And really get to know thyself. Know thyself. It's very key important to how much you start attaining, not only attaining your own inner power, but awakening to your true self, where at some point you'll be able to start mingling with those who are not in their power, and you will start to feel as if you can handle being around anyone else. Do you see what I'm saying? Because when you're in that cocoon stage, you feel like you can't be around anyone. Because I went through that stage. I went through that process. I was away from people for like 6 months, and I had to go through my own initiation, my own purification. And it's like nothing could come into my space and taint, you know, anything that was flowing through me. So until when all of who you are starts to come in with your own connection to that inner knowledge and the wisdom flowing, and you start to feel that light quotance just flowing through your skin and your mind and everything. And so and then it's like a delicate type of surgery situation. I don't know how to put it. And you know, it's like when it's almost like you're raw and open, Mike, and then it's like you don't want anything to come around you, like if you got a cut. And so, and then once you start to build up in the strength, and when you're saying, oh gosh, this is really who I am, oh, this is what and then you start to go into, oh, what's this person gonna think? Oh, I need permission for, you know, from someone that they're gonna like who I am because of what I've discovered or uncovered about myself. And so you're gonna go through these stages. So now that the key thing is, now, are you going to use your power of discernment with knowing what is not only the best for you, but that you're going to continue to be in that power as you continue to evolve and expand with that part of yourself that you haven't been able to touch into for centuries. Do you see what I'm saying? And that you don't create your own blocks when it comes to this, you know? So like, are you able to discern when it's time to go into your own cocoon, and then when it's time to go out there and expand? You know what I mean? That's the key, is bringing that balance. Bringing in that balance. Because if you're too much on one side, then it's not, you know, it's not going to serve you well. Because it's almost like you have to go. It's almost like they say you got to go out there and gain the experience, but we're not gaining experience. We're actually physically embodying your true self and how it has not been done before, and other people with what they're not used to, that we're grounding. And we're sustaining it on earth, which again has never been seen before, with all the elements and all the personalities of who you are, and what we're bringing into these true divine sacred partnerships as well, that people have not seen and experienced before. You know what I mean? And not being your own enemy with this as well either, and you know, going into the mind space, because it's about becoming lighthearted with it and connecting to your heart with what's true for you, and knowing the bigger picture again to where this is taking all of us, and as we're heading into that 7-dimensional space. Okay,
knowing yourself and being yourself, and just like you said so well, like the newness is instituted by Uranus and soon Neptune. These outer planets restarting their cycle. Whenever outer planets go over Aries, we're having to do new things, set trends, literally drive society and culture. And this is driving some of y'all crazy, because you were taught, you know, it's the square to Capricorn. Like, these are the rules you're supposed to guide by, but you're having to do new things that clash with this and have to balance, and there's no Libra. So the thing is, like, you really just want to not beat yourself up, and also just be highly aware that, of course, you're not alone, but it's so important for you to, once again, like, trust your own inner knowing. There's an emerging awareness that I know myself included are barely becoming aware of, and it's forcing me to really release to different facets of myself. And this is where the right partnerships are going to help you kind of hold space for each other. But you want to be mindful now of people who are going to want to deceive you by, acting like they connect with you, but they're slowly distracting you. Like they're cool with you, they're really awesome, but they'll suggest things here and there that make you doubt your own beliefs, make you feel like you're being located. And it's nothing wrong with someone sharing their own opinion. If someone disagrees with you, they have a perspective with which you could see, but there's a difference between that and them slowly but surely trying to convince you away from that path. These agents are out here, and they're not necessarily going to be in your face with devil horns. They're going to look beautiful. They're going to look like, oh, I'm not going to do any harm, which is important because some of you are supposed to partner with these dark beings. Some of you, your soulmate is the devil. And it's like you're supposed to go through this lesson so that you show yourself that you wouldn't be corrupted by this influence, whether it's long-term or short-term. And that was a very extreme example, but you're having to really not just cut people off because they represent certain themes. Your own energy, you tapping into your true self can change things. The whole facet with discernment and not trying to change yourself for someone else, but being quintessentially you. And by doing so, attracting or connecting with the right people accordingly. And, with Uranus that's in Taurus right now, shout out to David Rosher, we visualize reality before it's implemented as reality. And a lot of this greater or fresher energy is allowing you, once again, accordingly, to step more powerfully into the true energy signature that you possess, and to shed old layers of who you aren't, which could be painful for some, liberating for others, and just continue to hold space, because this is also what I kind of see this as, is like the third eye of your third eye is opening. It's a new sense that connects all of us, that we all access, maybe the infinity over your head, that is starting to activate, and you're starting to have to integrate this. And it's so subtle. Some of you may feel like
very subtle. Yes.
Some of you may not know that you're doing it, right? Unless you're Aquarius, right? But like, some of you may not be aware that this is occurring. And thankfully you will be, because this energy is focusing your intent to start to notice the differences in your experience versus what's actually occurring. But just really keep in mind that as these templates continue to change, and we know they're changing because we have 3 mutable signs active. Please hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Hit that. But like, these mutable signs are changing energy, highly perceptible. You're almost encouraged to debate other people, but don't get so fixated on being right or wrong. It's just about the debate. It's just about the conversation. It's just about the connection. So many people might be fixed on, what's being said, but it's really about what's happening between the lines. Are you focusing more on the knowledge that Sharon and I are kicking, which is somewhat important? Or are you taking into account that there's literally 212 people watching right now that are connecting their energies? We do not just exist physically. So
exactly,
at some level, you were predestined to come here, and our energy is engaging in ways that we are not so readily aware of. You know what I mean? There's so much focus that's being there's so much focus that's being directed at you and I. We're gathering energy, and it's having us really start to perceive this dynamics in more divine ways. And this is where I need to bring up Pisces once again. I really do feel more and more that Neptune and Pisces is the real ringleader and key of this, because once Neptune moves into Aries, spirituality is going to have a different name. And the way that we're going to be able to see these influences as it pertains to people will have us literally see the you're going to see demons. Like, people can already see them, but like, this is that shift. It's in Pisces, so they can hide behind the illusions. In Aries, it's going to be clear. We're going to have the knowledge and rhetoric of it. Pluto Aqua. We're headed here, 2025. And now we're slowly coming into the beginning of the end. That's going to irrevocably change the way, once again, that is changing right now. The way, because it's not just instantly at once, it's over time. And the reason why this is now going to impact your relationships with people is kind of like a video game. You can't, some of you needed that item. Some of you were blocked with getting with someone. Some of you were blocked with moving forward in love, period. And now you've leveled up. Now you finally got that item. Now you finally had that cutscene to where you can go back, or you don't even have to force anything. It's just going to naturally come into place for you. And just really keep in mind and make sure that your motives are pure, because this is really what's going to test why it is, you're seeking companionship and what it is you're wanting with other people. You also want to be very mindful of, with Chiron and Aries, the kid gloves are off.
Yep.
They're completely off. And so there's this kind of like pretentiousness. I'm guilty of it myself, but Geminis are allowed to do this. People don't know that. Geminis
why are they allowed to be pretentious? Because you have two sides?
Gemini is allowed to be pretentious and fake nice because we're the messengers. When you see a FedEx person, they have to be nice to you because we got to deliver the message. You know what I'm saying? We got to hold space.
That's why I know, me personally, Sharon, she can do customer service because me too feisty. I will tell what? No, sir. So can you imagine if you have two sides, and then you have these two sides have personalities that are connected to the two sides of you, what that says about you from a quantum perspective. See that?
But
and it can't be ignored.
It says a lot about you from a quantum perspective. And there's this pretentiousness or this like fake nice energy that doesn't allow people to be vulgar and real with each other as they can, because you're so worried about being sensitive. But
you see, I'm not like that. So
no, not at all.
Not at all. Very vulgar. Very, very vulgar. Very, yes.
And I found myself, my Mars and Aries, for you guys who have Mars and Aries, your Mars is under attack. It's like our very desire is being brought under scrutiny. We're just to desire someone in a raw, passionate way you're going to get in trouble for it, and it's unnecessary. Or to express yourself, it's just going to have this like reaction, which should be met with detachment. You know what I mean? But that's already debatable because of space.
So is Mars still in Cancer right now? Is it still in Cancer? It's still in Cancer, because that energy itself is what I found out is has built up so much of this intensity that we've had for this week. And where it's bringing us more to push forward, but then it's like you're pushing forward and pulling back. So you may be feeling even greater push-pull energy between yourself and your twin, or who your sacred partner is, or who you're connected to. So, and again, this has to do with this preparation, they're saying, to do with the solstice energies. And you may find yourself having to have released more of the belief systems that you are tied to from your generational aspect, from your side and your twin's family side as well, which is still your family, because don't subject it to the blood relation or anything like that. So you may find yourself even being in your past life Coming up again into the present. That's another thing that's occurring too. I have to mention. Okay. Hmm? What do you
Oh,
say?
I was gonna ask if you guys are ready for war, and to comment a fire sign emoji if you've been feeling more irritated than ever, and
Yes.
you've been
Oh my
feeling.
God.
I hope you guys know war is like this is the last season before we get into war. It's happened last year too. We're about to have a cardinal cross, y'all, a cardinal square, and this
What
is
does that mean?
we're gonna have Cancer versus Capricorn versus Aries, and it's gonna get ugly because last year when we had this, Uranus was in Aries, but Chiron was in Pisces. Now Chiron is in Aries, and the kid gloves are off. So you're gonna see people not hold back anymore. It's gonna get really ugly. Like we're entering it. This is the last 2019 where we step into a bloodbath. Like people start to really express their true intent because they now have the grounding for it. And this is everything we need, though. It's so ironic. We kind of need this because it's that type of energy where like you get in a heated argument with someone and you both say nasty things to each other. But then later when you calm down, it's like, okay, now you both know how you really feel and you can work from there instead of it being hidden and pent up. But this is about to be a total war for sincerity, to align yourself with how you really feel and not feel like you have to sugarcoat or hold that
Right. Mm-hmm.
Get ready, and we're also get ready, my friends, because this is in the midst of election season. So things are by Leo season in August are heating up, and we're about to step into the most intense 6-month transit for
Yes.
this is why we have to have this perceptual shift. So your mind can change and Jupiter can show you, hey, here's how to harness these energies and to connect with these spirit guides. Okay, okay. I didn't want to share this story, but it was so funny. I was coming back from LA with the new moon in Gemini, and I was like, I just felt the urge, play the lottery. Go to the casino. Go to the casino. Try your luck. It was a new moon. I was around a lot of cool people. So I go to the casino at the airport. The first time I'm playing it in the airport for the first time. And, I put in $20. Okay. Oh my gosh. And like, I play it twice and nothing happens. And okay, the way this happens is I walk through and I immediately, my finger comes up because I have Uranus in Capricorn and now it's in Taurus. So I'm just walking and my finger comes up and before I see it, my body immediately points to this goddess Inca slot. So I play it 2 times. I'm on my phone. And then it's like, all right, let me pay attention. So I literally pray, please, oh goddess, give me the jackpot. And then I press it. I was like, what? It's that easy? Like, that's all I had to do? Mm-hmm. And I literally got jaded. I didn't win the most money, but I literally had to pinch myself. I was dying laughing. I was like, I felt like I was being shown up. Like, is this really happening? Like, literally. I won the first hand, I won the second hand, I won the third hand, I won the way the slot machine works is you win and then it keeps on going. And like I literally won 5 times in a row, and then it said jackpot, and I'm like, is this a fucking practical joke? Like, where's Ashton Kutcher right now? What's going on? And then I pray again. I'm like, can I win a jackpot again? And I swear to God, it happens again. And it's like, what? My whole life is a lie. Like, all I had to do was like engage with the enemy. That I tried to do it 3 times, and I could have kept going, but it's just something that kind of changed my perception. Like there's an extra, and you know what? That could have been random. I could have just been lucky.
No, it's not random. No, it is not. It is the power of the connection that you're having to money, because
spiritual experience.
It's a spiritual experience, and you're having a connection to prosperity. Okay. So when you're realigning your connection to prosperity, because all it took was just a touch. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's like it's magic. It becomes magical. I mean, when you really stay in that divine flow and you're really truly like tapping in, everything just starts to happen just magically. And again, even though I know you said war, but the war is more like No. What I mean is like, yeah, it is internal. But again, it's almost like I said, what I mentioned earlier in the conversation to do with the chaos. And, ooh, see, 11:11, see that? I said it's the balancing of the chaos and the calm at the same time. That's 11:11, yay! 11:11 in the house. So, it's like, this is the part of self-mastery. And the more you are sustaining this power, the less you will see anything else that shows up in your reality that's chaotic. Because I know that because I experienced it myself. So you're going to keep alchemizing through this, and the everything that's happening planetary is going to give you that how do I say, that energy that's flowing through. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's becoming, again, they're showing that it's becoming more subatomic, and many of you may also find yourself feeling like you're coming into this God complex or goddess complex, okay? And I saw, I hope I don't do a spoiler, but I saw, oh my God, Godzilla. I saw the Godzilla movie with kids, right? And he came into his God complex. He came into that part of himself with knowing that he is God, okay? And what happened is he got what we call a defibrillator, okay? Like there's something nuclear that's flowing through all of us. And I just keep hearing constantly the atomic, what's that word again? Radioactive, right? This radioactive energy. And what happens is each time you go to another level of this power, and then how you're interconnecting it with also, if you're on the twin soul path, what happens is it's going to come together and it's going to become sort of what we call combustible. And this part of this, the part of this power that's coming within each one who's coming into their androgynous state, because it's how much you're bringing that inner balance of masculine and feminine, and then how you're connecting to your sacred soul partner on all levels, okay? Because I know there's some out there that are putting out there in programming, subliminal programming, and it's running in the background programming, and it's also being put out in videos and stuff like that. This is only about the spiritual energy, but this is what grounding it on earth means, that we're grounding it together in the physical space as well. So I really want to emphasize that this is about everything flowing from the mental energy, where you're working through the mind space with this, the emotional body that you're healing, and then the etheric body is what comes next in line before it comes into the physical, okay? So the more you work through the energies and what's showing up, and using your discernment to which we can't say what's real and not real, because everything is real as far as I'm concerned. Everything is having its purpose. Okay, even for something or someone that's against you, because it's like showing up in your reality. Like, do you really know who you are? Are you really choosing? Because you're choosing, and what you're accepting, and what you're doing it all at once. And then once you're connecting all of this part of yourself, and then you're connecting to that person, knowing in your heart, because you know what's true for you on this path, that also brings you to another level of power. Because once you're clear on it and you're not back and forth, guess what? That means that nothing or no one can touch you with any of that. And it doesn't even come into your space. It doesn't come into your reality. No longer. Okay? You went out, Mike. What did you say?
You just have to believe.
You have to believe. Yeah. You have to believe.
And triggers the switch and opens the door into completion. And oh wow. Oh yes, Neptune and Pisces. First of all, I wish and I intend that each and every single one of you experiences 2 miracles tonight. Neptune and Pisces is the intuitive magic that allows you to sense the subatomic, but you do not see it and perceive it with eyes. You feel it, you experience it, and it's not necessarily going to be a conventional experience. It could be quite strange. Let me tell you something about life. Life is stranger than fiction. And this is going to be a day and week and month that you fully really step into this. And, what's to account for the fact, for the possibility, but I want to say fact, that we're constantly shifting timelines and we're constantly engaging with energy that is way too quick for any of us to know. So who can really say that we know anything? There is not a single person. Well, I feel like this is different for Aquarians because Aquarius represents knowledge, but I don't really think that there's a single person outside of Aquarians that really truly know anything outside of, subjective knowledge and understanding. Given that the information that's around is so vast, and to truly know, you would have to have a total understanding of everything that's occurring to put it into context outside of relative knowledge, which exists, and subjective knowledge. But, thankfully, you don't have to know. Shout out to Chad. Same as Chad. Hashtag I know nothing. You know what I mean? You can allow yourself to be led by the right influences, the way that as a child, you were led, and slowly grow discernment through the process. But, this is really going to challenge more so your preconceived notions and how well you're bringing this higher self outside of you. And emerging it and your greatest self and becoming this and allowing challenges, because that's the whole purpose of this war, to go through challenges and be shaped through conflict and resolve conflict, whether peacefully or not, and be defined through such a process. And this is going to require, getting a little bit down and dirty. Mars and Mercury are here right now. Thank you, Shawnee, by the way. Mars and Mercury are here right now in a position, to really powerfully rewire your energy signature so you feel your own sincere feelings. What Mercury and Mars want to ask you is, how do you truly feel about the situation? And that's something that has been really giving me reprieve, really giving me relief. It's like I'm coming up with my own authentic way to feel about the situation that's unique to me. Despite what other people may feel, there's this wisdom that's like, well, here's the truth of it. Like, this is in your shoes, because people can only tell you so much based on their perception of you. And you exist as an image of their head. Everyone that knows you only has an idea of who you are. They're not you. So unless they're like magic or psychic, like they don't really know you or have to. And you want to keep that in mind as the whole quality, because we're reaching a time, what is really instituting, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in Aquarius are connecting the minds of everyone around the world. There's a telepathic grid that is connecting all of our ideas. Since we're already connected, we're just being more aware of it. Mm-hmm. And, some of you have tapped into this because your Aquarius is, and like, you don't have to wait for this. Like, this is the new age of Aquarius we're headed into. So, this has a lot to do with bridging in your own intuitive knowledge, but I have to shout out to Blue Flame Integration. We're going to do a peace talk next week. You need to own your divinity. That's really the best way I can say this. You must.
You have to own it. Yeah, you really have to own it. Yeah.
You must speak divine language. You have manifested Kirks. Neptune was 12th house to Uranus and Aries. You manifested those Kirks. Now it's sextiling Uranus. And it's like you're having to speak the language of your own uniqueness, which is weird, which is different. By the time it trines or moves along, we're not going to see this make sense until maybe another decade. Once this starts.
True, yeah, because I even said I don't know what it's going to fully look like, because we're not supposed to. We're just to be in a zero space as much as possible, zero energy.
And when we start the cycle from Aries, it's like children. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer are children and adolescents, because you need to spend childhood just expressing yourself so that you can build your talents. Because once all this outer planet energy moves again to like Leo, Virgo, this is where we're going to now start to make sense of this. This is what, but that's not till like 2040, 2050. Like, so this is really just about developing your thoughts, really allowing yourself to flow, not to be 100% devoid of rationality unless you're a super trooper, but you really want to allow yourself to flow. and, not necessarily be deceived at the same time. Good luck with that. Because it's almost impossible not to be deceived when you think that even everything that we're aware of isn't really as it is. And you hallucinate your reality, as is proven in TED Talks.
Being deceived is a part of this journey anyway. I mean, there's no going around it. It's a matter of how much are you allowing yourself to be in a greater awareness of self. Because the more you are in a greater awareness, the more you'll be able to detect what is not true for you. And again, it's like what Spirit says is always follow that inner knowing, always follow that inner guidance, because that is your true compass. You see, don't compare your story to anybody else's story. Okay, because it's very easy for those subtle energies to come in and for you to feel dissuaded just because what someone speaks in words. Speak from the heart first, and then you can go to the words. Is what is my best recommendation. Okay,
is the new. And everyone is a winner. The only way you lose is if you forsake yourself and try and be someone else.
Yes, exactly. And you see, even if you try to be someone else, it's not working in these energies anymore. It's going to start to feel more uncomfortable, and you're going to feel like, and then everything around you starts to fall apart if you're not following your heart or where you feel that you should be. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there's not going to be any manuals and books out there to say, oh, I wonder what this feels like. I wonder what this means because I'm having this. Nope. Spirit wants you to connect to source, connect to that part of yourself that you may not have never tapped into before. And it doesn't have to be specifically tied to a specific type of meditation, because everybody meditates differently. My meditation could be anywhere. I could be in the car driving. I could be in the supermarket. It could be anywhere at any time. Okay, music, no music. I could be even screaming and shouting, and I receive meditative thoughts and messages. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's like really not attaching to anything or anyone.
Nope.
Okay. It's like constantly creating free energy. You know what I mean? When you're in more of that free energy and flowing within that free energy, meaning that you're not having as much blocks at that moment, or you're not too focused on something else or someone else, or you're not feeling as much of this emotional bondage, then that's when the energy flows freely with you, and you tap into another higher part of yourself at that moment. You know what I mean? And it keeps going in cycles until when everything that comes into this union space with yourself and someone else and your tribe, you're connecting more to your soul family, because each one of us is helping to ignite and activate this part of ourselves that has been dormant, and we're recreating a new structure, a new DNA structure of self. And so as we're connecting, like how we have these lives that we're meeting, it's like even if you feel like you're faltering off, then here we come to activate us back again. You know what I'm saying? Because even when you were speaking to that young lady earlier, I was like, oh my God, I love the way she talked. And I was like, yes, she speaks my language. Yes, I understand that, because sometimes that's where we need that extra boost, just like, like how they're going to be bringing out the electric cars, right? So you won't have to use the gas anymore. It's like we're recharging ourselves to the point where you can recharge yourself. You see, that's the part where this greater part of self-mastery comes in, where at the moment, if you're experiencing something that's uncomfortable, that you're able to assess it in that moment, you become your own healer. You become your own guru. You become your own counselor. You're able to laugh through it, cry through it, everything at that moment. Okay, it could happen in a split second. And then all of a sudden you feel like you're back into this balanced state for yourself. That is the power of how you're bringing yourself into balancing between that masculine and feminine. And guess what? When you were talking about the new type of knowledge that's coming in, well, guess what? It's going to be the same thing when it comes to the description that we have when it comes to divine masculine and divine feminine, what they were showing me. Yep. When I spoke with you, remember, Mike? And some of you may find yourself switching places faster than ever before, where 1 minute you're in the masculine, next minute you're in the feminine, then one moment you may feel like you're in both at the same time. That's what the androgynous state is about, okay? And it's a matter of getting used to it, because it's never been like this before. We usually are only on one side of the spectrum. You see? So now we are bringing in all the spectrum of self, all the colors, all the frequency, the mathematical equations that connects you to this person or where you are in a particular location. All of it is tying together all at the same time. So if you try to figure it out, you just stay trying to figure it out, because it's just so bigger. It's so much bigger than what we may not realize. Do you see what I'm saying? And imagine if it's like this with just me individual and you individual, and then all of us on here, 232, and all the individuation of self and how it's coming in multidimensionally and with who you're connected to. Yeah. That's power. That's power. You see? That's power.
And so, I love how you brought up, like, you know, it's a perfect analogy. We're switching from gas to electric, which means you don't go to gas stations anymore, and you plug in, like, the fundamental nature of how you draw from. You nailed it, because it's like drawing from a different source instead of
source. Yeah.
Now you're charging. Literally.
You're literally charging. Yeah, we're getting charged up. Yeah.
Uranus and Aries was like fuel, and Uranus and Taurus is like electricity, or Uranus and Gemini too. The thing here as well with the whole concept of God complexes, some of you have been psychologically manipulated to feel that being confident is you being arrogant.
Yes.
Some of you are around very subtle people who, anytime you start to feel into yourself, they start to make fun of you. They start to belittle. They start to, and over time, this can make you start to feel like it's almost too much to step into. And when you channel your higher self, you're channeling a supreme energy. Yes. And so the cognitive dissonance between how you see yourself as a human versus the celestial energy you're channeling can create a God complex, because you start to feel like, oh, I can't feel this supreme. Now I feel like I'm over other people, even though rulership is a service. Okay. Yeah. Being a god or a goddess is not about ruling over other people as much as it is mastering your own self and being and domain and connecting holistically. So for those of you who have issues with a quote unquote God complex, you must become Kanye West. Okay. If you ever feel like you have God complex issues, go play Yeezus and listen to I Am a God, one of the best songs of our generation. Hurry up with my damn Minaj. Hurry up with my damn croissants. Like, I just told you who I think I am, a God. And it's like, you can't really hold that back. You need to bring that authenticity for you to step into this instead of shrink back. Chiron is an Aries. We're not shrinking back. It's a forward moving sign. That means you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to rub some people off the wrong way, but it's not about playing this Chiron and Pisces. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I won't say anything.
It's Chiron and Aries. It's like, oops. Oh, well, did it. What we going to do now? That's Chiron Aries. It's like, well, you can keep on bringing my past, but we're here now. So what do you want to do? What are you going to do? Because I'm going to keep doing me. So what's up with you?
Yeah. And it'll be at a point where you don't even have to say a motherfucking thing. You just be it. You just be it. It's like, it's just being in this being energy and this being space. And then what'll happen is then there's just certain people that will just pull away from you again, because they're feeling this power that you're having within yourself and they're not used to it. And so what'll happen is they'll retreat back because they have to look at themselves as to why they're diminishing themselves. So it's very important to stay focused on the power that you're bringing within you. You know, that's why it's so interesting when I observe my own children, like even with Brandon. He don't give a fuck about nothing. He just is. He just does his thing, says whatever. Even if the teacher says one thing, sometimes it becomes like, you know, hilarious in his own way with things. But then I'm like, Brandon, why did you say that? It's like, so, you know, and it's like being in a position where, again, that if someone is not used to it, say, well, that's rude and that's so out of order. Well, you're not used to it, and I'm going to still keep being myself. Okay. And whether or not someone wants to perceive as if you're stepping out of line, no, you're coming into line. You're coming in line on in a new way, on another grid. Okay, and the grid is the power of the I am, and I am that I am that I am. And that means that everything that you know that you define as I am, get out a piece of paper and write down, who do you think you are? Mr. Big Stuff or Miss Big Stuff, okay? Who do
You know
you think
you
you
are.
are? Mr. Big Stuff. Remember I played it last week? You see what I'm saying? Because, because even if you say, I am the shit, I am this, I am that, I am. And what it does is it sends out a wave and that rippling energy again, of not only who you are, but it is going to attract who you're not. And in the absence of who you're not is what empowers you, because you're bringing both polarities together now, and you're not running from it, and you're accepting it. Okay, you're accepting who you are on both sides of the element. So, and as you do that, guess what happens? You become even more powerful. So even Godzilla had to die. He died and he came back to life, and more power came through to him from that atomic whatever box that they use, and he became more powerful, and he knew he was the shit. So by the end, all the other titans had to bow to the I am. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not a matter of saying that someone is going to bow to you, but it's like everything that the other titans represented as the opposite had no other choice but to come and to connect to the I am of who he is as the God. What they want to say, God complex. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that's how we create peace, is bringing in the element of everything else outside of you that's just as strong, and stay steady and stay on course. You see, stay on course, stay on course. You see what I'm saying? And see how much more you're able to master through it at the moment when it's happening. And don't worry, you always get another opportunity, because I'm telling you, these energies is just bringing it on over and over again. I mean, like shit, like you can't even find time to catch up to the next one, and then the next one come again, and the next one come again. You see what I'm saying? Yep. And so as you're going through these elements of the I am and the I am nots coming in, okay, and then when you start to see yourself, like really seeing yourself, go, like I feel this is like way beyond even looking in the mirror, to be honest with you, and being able to stop at that moment and coming into that greater realization, and coming into the God complex also comes with humility. It really does. There's humility that's involved with this as well, and still being in your power. That for most people, they'll have a hard time understanding it, because they're expecting that when you have this type of power that you're going to exercise it over someone. No, this power is where you're exercising it within you, and how you're bringing it within with your co-creative abilities, and how you're shape-shifting just like Doctor Strange. Okay?
Yeah.
At the moment he knew if something was coming at him, he just knew to just spin that web and contain it, and then he kept going, right? And then he has someone else who also had the same powers. I don't remember the character's name. I'm good with the names. And then what did he do? Wong, yeah. And he assisted. And then the next element came in and used their power, right? So we just have all these combination of what? The X-Men, the Marvel, what else? Guardians of the Galaxy, all the elements of ourselves. All those characters is us. This is us. This is real shit. This is us. This is for real. This is for real. So even if the brain has to still work through breaking down what we may think what's not real, because we didn't sit around the table growing up as kids with our parents saying, yo, I'm going to be doing my fire up in here, and I'm going to block some shit today, and I'm going to make that shit move across the table. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't regular conversation. No.
And, on that note, when it comes to like the bending of the elements, when it comes to actual supernatural ability, the reason why this is starting now is this perceptual clause is going to have you look at things that you've seen as normal. There are certain habits that you have. There are certain things that you've been doing since birth every day that you always thought was normal, and you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I've been doing this power the whole time. Like you're going to really look at stuff so differently. And the reason why you're going to glow up, the reason why over the next 6 months, starting now, you're going to have a transformed sense of your value. Like so many people 6 months from now are going to be so much more confident. They're going to really step into realizing I am so much higher than I thought, because Uranus and Taurus is quincunxing Jupiter and Sagittarius. So Jupiter and Sagittarius is having you see beyond your current sense of self-esteem, which is uncomfortable because you think you're this level of valuable, but Jupiter is like, no king, no queen, like you are so much more valuable. You can't see it. Let me show you. You have to actually, step in. It's literally like Jupiter ascending. You know what I'm saying? You had a girl that was cleaning toilets only to find out she's the queen of the world.
Yes.
Like, how do you make sense of that? You go to
the movie. Oh, you talking about Jupiter ascending the movie? Okay, because I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah.
You go to space and you fight your evil alien brother and sister. That's how you do it.
Yes. And she had to remember and awaken to her true self. You see that? And the beautiful thing is that many of you out there who are parents, whether it's parents by giving birth or not, is that the babies that are coming in now, what I was seeing is remembering some of those babies that, when I say babies, I'm talking about like from infant, toddler, where they knew their gifts. And many of you probably experienced that when you were a child. You knew your gifts and it was dumbed down, or you were told not to do that. Don't be like that. That's going to be strange in front of people. Or you could have been growing up in a religious background where they're going to say that you're being like a devil, or this is evil stuff, and don't do that. So now guess what? We're in this freedom energy again. If you feel that you have certain element of these powers, you don't have to hide anymore. Start allowing yourself to bring it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I know sometimes some people say, well, how can I do this? Because I'm not used to this. And you're not going to be in a place where you're going to be used to it, because you're around maybe in a radius of 100 to 200 people. And some of us are in all different parts of the world right now. Okay. You're here to start it. You're here to ignite it. Okay.
Initiate it. Do your own.
Initiate it. Yes.
Because remember, your power is as unique as you. So no one else can tell you really how to tap into your power as uniquely as you can. And, there being no Virgo energy doesn't mean that we shouldn't be rational. So that's just one way of looking at astrology. A lack of energy in a transit doesn't mean that we can't harness it, but it's just not an area of focus. So
right.
Keep that in mind, because we know that Neptune in Pisces is veils and illusion. We know that Neptune in Pisces is allowing you to hear things right as you see them. And you start to see these powerful signs. So just like in Jupiter ascending, there's this whole dynamic where like crazy things happen with these alien extraterrestrials, but then so many people don't see what's happening. Like a whole building gets destroyed, but it starts to repair upon itself, right? And it's like, even though there was an intergalactic battle happening in the major city, the humans don't see it because they're being veiled.
The veil. Yep. Their eyes are closed. Everything's closed off. Mm-hmm.
You think of Men in Black, right? Pure Aquarius Pisces, and they do the flash pen, and you forget this is Neptune in Pisces. Yes. How many of you truly believe? Comment a fire sign emoji if you truly believe that this is happening, that certain whole experiences are being changed and fabricated. How would you know? How do you know what to be honest? Some of you see it. And you can't say anything because no one's going to believe you. Where like, this actually happens. This is Neptune in Pisces. This is how like mysterious is, and this is how fundamental this energy is. That's why Pisces is seen as delusional. You either believe it or you don't. The dark side of Pisces is not really trusting in logic and just believing in your own illusions. But the positive side of Pisces is believing in that which you can't see and coming into a greater realization of what's possible. You know what I mean? So we have these dynamics here. Some of you are Men in Black agents that probably had the flash pen used on you, and you're regaining your memories. We know this because
some of you may have incarnated with more memory. You know what I mean? Than not. You know what I'm saying? And I this is what I say too, because I remember I had heard this from Neil Donald Walsh, Conversation with God. He said, what if all the things you think you know turn out to be the opposite of what you think you know? You know what I mean? This is how you can expand yourself in consciousness. Like, what if whatever you think you know right now, it could be anything. What if it's the opposite now? Well, this is what's happening. Every single thing, I don't care if right down to all the thoughts, all the habits, everything you've been used to. It's so much programming and the subliminal programming and the sub-level programming, okay, that it's the opposite now. It's switching gears, and it's about truly letting go And again, using your discernment with all of this, using your discernment. Okay. And how do you use your discernment? You follow your heart. What is your heart telling you? How do you feel inside when you know that even if 10 people said the opposite of what you said, right? Or what you're doing or who you're being, that how you feel inside is what is the truth for you, and you just keep it rolling. Okay. And each one of us that does that, what happens? It ignites something different in how our outer reality is starting to create this new earth, and how we're shifting into this higher dimensional state where it's not just up there, it's down here now. This is what's happening. It's down here now. We're bringing it here now. Okay. And again, it's going to feel like everything else is just telling you, no, don't do this. No, don't do that. No, come back over here. You might find some people trying to pull onto your coat. No, don't leave me. Please come over here. Don't go over there. Oh, well, that's it. And that means it's going to require you to be on your own, feeling like you're in isolation, locked up in a room, perhaps. Don't go out nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You might end up eating bonbons and around the fire and, you know, all kind of shit.
It's so important to mention this because it's all about, it's not about being right or wrong as much as it needs to be aligned with truth. And that's why it's so hard to have faith, because God is calling some of you in the sense where it's like, I'm not saying to do what's wrong, but like some of you, it's not, some of you are realizing that it's not about, some of you might be doing something that seems wrong and you may be wrong, but in the process of being wrong, you got where you had to go.
Yes.
And if you were right, you wouldn't have experienced what you needed to experience. So that's why I'm saying, like, what feels right? What aligns you with truth? Not just doing what you feel, but what aligns you with truth that's revealing more of this. It's no excuse, because you're still going to have to take responsibility for these actions. But this is why you can't be so preoccupied with doing the right thing and having everything aligned with what's factual, as opposed to really just allowing yourself to be led and guided. Because once again, new rules are being written. No one really can tell you how to do you, as much as give you maybe a suggestion or kind of, you know what I'm saying, really step into a less subjective way that balances with other people. But Libra's empty, Scorpio's empty, Leo's empty, Cancer is inhabited, but from Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, they're empty. The whole quadrant of energy is empty that governs other people, that governs expressing your talents. We're all having to come inward because we're coming out that cocoon and we're developing our skills, and we're having to really at some point decide to believe in yourself fully.
Yes.
And that does not look like conformity. It is the opposite of conformity. And no one is telling you to put a tinfoil hat on your head, run naked on, I mean, you can do it if you want, run naked on the road. And
places that will support you with that.
You know what I mean? Now, if you want to be a super trooper, like, you could be a super trooper. It's the legendary path. Being a super trooper is just being deviant from everything that is a part of society, because you'll be ahead of the curve, where you're exhibiting behavior that will later be seen as normal. But because you're doing it beforehand, it's causing friction with the current order, so it's not going to be comfortable. And you could be a super trooper and just go full fish tard. And there's consequences with this, but it will pay a time. Like if we had majority energy in Virgo and Libra, where you have to be fair, you have to really take account of other people's space, and you have to be analytical, you don't want to go full fish tard. It's just not going to work. This is the energy where you want to go full fish tard, because you're going to be led to a place where you gain treasures that no one can take from you. And it's just purely to you.
Yes, the treasures of your heart. Can you explain to me what is fish tard?
Okay, I don't want to say retard, so I say fish tard.
Oh, okay. Brandon says retard.
Fish tard is like Pisces. It's going full Pisces. It's
okay.
uninhibiting your mind to just completely go full light language. Like, and it's like I'm even having trouble because I'm trying to make sense of it instead of just flowing like.
That's why you have to make sense of it. You just let it flow, even if it feels crazy, because that's what authentic is all about. That's where the freestyle comes in, because you're flowing with the energy and you're allowing everything to just come out, and you know, and even if it looks crazy, that's what brings the excitement. Because I mean, come on, let's just be real. It's been quite boring being on this planet for a very long time. Okay,
a very long time. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
People have had to pretend like they're not bored.
Hey, can I have some tea? Yeah, you can have some tea, but you could also get the bug out your ass. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all I'm saying is that the part of who you are in really becoming and being yourself is going to be so eccentric, beyond. Just like how Mike is doing what he's doing while I'm talking, and I can still see what he's doing, even if he thinks I don't know.
Why do you always call me out every time? Oh my god! This is weird. No expression on here.
It would be fun if I did it. It would be fun if I did it. Ooh, that's what makes this lighthearted. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have to be heavy with this, even though I know at times it will feel heavy, but it's really being lighthearted. And it's like as each cycle comes in, as the new earth coming in, it's at some point everyone is going to be on this wavelength or this page of in total atomic freedom, like total freedom, like no tomorrow, where it's not about anyone governing over the other, but we're just doing this together collectively. You know what I'm saying? Separately and universally at the same time.
And I love how you said we go beyond. This eccentricity is going to bring you beyond your limits. This is what Jupiter and Sagittarius is ready to do. I mean, chill with the Sag if you need to know. I mean, I used to chill with the Sag who had a Sag moon and an Aqua rising. And I mean, this dude was wild. Like, this is a dude that would really challenge my preconceived notions. I'd be totally capped, like all on time, and he would totally have no sense of time and just like take his time. And you know, he was teaching me not to be so uptight, but I was all like having to be like, you can't just take 50 minutes to get ready. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And then act like we're not late and just talk like I'm not late. Like I was like, oh, like what the hell?
But that's what freedom is, you know, where I can't get locked to time. So, you know, it's so much freedom beyond measure that what'll happen is we'll just start to create our world where those who are aligned in a similar fashion, where you just don't give a fuck, we're in just our freedom, we're in our power, we're in our strength, we acknowledge that you are the God, and you say, hey, you the goddess, hey, you the shit, ooh, we own this, you know what I'm saying? And just being in such joy with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not supposed to be about telling somebody how they should be, what they should be, and how it should look. Because it just wastes more time and takes up more energy.
That's arrogant. Telling someone how they should be is the biggest disrespect of someone else's personal space, because it presupposes that you know that person better than they know themselves. Just because you're aware of aspects of themselves that they may not be conscious of doesn't mean that you know the silent battle they're fighting. Doesn't mean that you really know them. And this is where, shout out to Kanye, like he brought this up in a recent talk about how, you know, the label of crazy is so dismissive. You start to act like there's nothing that they can contribute because you've slapped this label on someone that you don't know. You don't really have an idea of outside of what you've heard of them, and you put this label and stigma on them, and then you live in this false illusion based off of hearsay, gossip, and making someone out to be a monster when they might just really need help, or they might just really need to be understood.
Yep, the judgment thing, and they just come into the middle of your story and trying to tell you, you know, what you're doing, and they didn't get the whole story. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like when I see it subtly, though, what Spirit is showing me is that there's that underlying fear of what one may not know and understand. And so therefore that's when they figure that, well, I got to get this back under control now. This is not going to work, and then that's when they want to make up another rule, because what they'll do is it'll come so subtly again, right? With how we have to use our discernment, they'll come up with something else, right? To try and see if it'll get you to bend and not be yourself or be on your path, to throw you off and try to bring in another rule and another regulation or another stipulation. Do you see what I'm saying? And when if you're not careful and conscious, you can fall for that shit again and say, well, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna hold off till next week. I'm gonna think. I hear what you're saying, and then it makes you start going to doubt, or you start to feel bad. Like maybe I shouldn't really do this, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and that's
Shout out to Jax Atlantis said something so amazing, especially as a Libra, and that's that he learned that sometimes holding your tongue is actually evil. Instead of confronting people and having that friction and being in a position to let people know what's up, instead of just being nice. I like to avoid conflict at all costs. I don't really like to. I know I got a Mars in Aries, but I it's not really because I'm the peace dealer either. Like, I just don't feel like there's any time for conflict, and sometimes I'm just not going to say anything when I probably should.
Yeah, sometimes you don't end up having to say anything anyway, and sometimes you get to a point where you really don't have to say anything because you're not drawing that energy towards you. It's like me, I don't have to say anything. Like other people I hear, they go through different conflicts and stuff like that, but I don't. I just choose not to. It's a choice. You choose. You can still work through the inner things that you experience from someone without even saying the words, because it's something that you're doing internally within your own power. Sometimes there's power in silence. Sometimes there's power in like you may write it out, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's still, as long as you're still making it conscious and not letting it stay dormant within you, you know what I mean? And sometimes that person is helping you to become more empowered. You see what I'm saying? Because it's opposing you, or it's misunderstood, or it's being twisted. You see what I'm saying? For that person's personal gain. And then after a while, what will happen is when you still step into that power, and not just stepping into it, but staying in it, then you start to see it just fade away, and you don't have that experience any longer. You know what I mean? Because I mean, come on now, we're at a stage in our life where you're not interested in fighting and explaining things to anyone anymore, or even trying to convince anyone. It's not your job. It's not your job to do that. Each one of us, I know when I was awakening, there wasn't anybody telling me anything. This was coming through with me and my own journey. And this is where everyone has to face themselves. Everybody to face themselves. It may not show up now in their reality, but trust me, it's still happening in a subtle way. And many of us are ahead of this. And by the time, I would say again, as we move in towards the end of this year, more people are going to become more awakened, and more people are going to seek help and trying to understand what's happening around them. Okay, because if you go talk to the average person and they're going to say, oh, guess what happened? This is happening to me, and they're complaining, and why they have no idea. They're not conscious about what's really happening in the truest sense. But you might. And you might say something like, oh, well, do you know that we're in awakening right now? Do you know that there's changes and shifts happening on the planet? Or you might end up attracting someone that says, oh, Dip, I can't believe you talk like that. I knew it. Oh, I'm so glad that I came into contact with you. That's also happening in your reality, you see? But again, it's not, if it feels like it's heavy for you and you have to keep explaining, no, that's not serving your best interest right now. I feel that at some point, Mike, with a lot of us, what's happening is we're collaborating and saying, hey, what have you heard? What have you connected to, in these energies? And then it's like we're comparing notes, just like how it used to be back then. Because I always had so much memory of being around these round tables, in these higher elements. And it's like we're co-creating and talking about what we're bringing to Earth and what we're doing with all these shifts. You see what I'm saying? And the part was crazy funny is that many of us on here, would say, Yeah, I'm ready to do this shit. Yeah, man, I'm the shit. I'm the boss. I'm like, yep. And now we're here. And you're like, oh, fuck. What did I do? Why did I come here? Oh, my goddess. Right?
That's how I feel like with love. It's like, I want to be in a relationship, and then it might happen. It's like, oh, shit, wait.
So choose, and then, oh, shit.
Right? Oh, shit. Like, this is really happening. Oh,
this
damn.
is really happening. Yeah.
And what you seek is seeking you. Jupiter is in Sag. You are being watched right now by people who you would have never expected, even right now. And, you know, people who you might put a mask on for or change your a sense of yourself. They're starting to see facets of yourself that they might not have seen before. And, you know, the most important part of discerning sacred unions is, are your unions with others sacred?
Yes.
Are they actually aligning you with your divine purpose? Are they actually affirming what you're learning about staying pure? Because, you know, certain people may be more focused on compatibility and the sexuality instead of the sacredness.
Yes.
Which is the most important part right now. Not a lot of unions are sacred because they're transactional and they're based on what you can get from the other.
But maybe they're not really on that path, but some people are just wannabes and they're not taking it as sacred. Do you see what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It's like it's false. It's based off of deception. Maybe people mean well, but it's, you know, they're distractions in play. And it's like, yeah, I've been seeing the universe. I'm not going to blame the universe. I'm not going to blame it. It's just like the word. You ever feel like some words stick out to you and it's almost like there's a message, like you're being called something or something like that? I know a lot of it is just like noticing the word and like.
Like which word? Which word for you?
Creep. I feel like the creep. No, I was joking. I know I'm focusing on it and like noticing it, and it's definitely triggering insecurities within me. Even though there's just this Piscean influence here, where it's just like I know what's going on behind the veil. Y'all gonna have to see me. Y'all gonna have to see me. But it is what it is. Other than that, craziness aside. You know.
But you know what? I remember when I also started going through this different level of awakening, there were certain words that triggered me too. This is how easy it happens to you. Certain words just trigger you and it just makes you like you feel bad and start looking at yourself like, oh my God, is this really me? Or what are you trying to say, spirit? You know, that's messed up. And then you start to go back crawling into that hole again, you know. Yeah, it's a part of the process.
Can't even be a closet creeper these days without being trolled. It's like I'll see the word where I least expect it in subtitles in an anime. Like, come on, like where, like how, like what? But it is what it is. I know a lot of that is more so me probably subconsciously seeing it out, because I also do believe that you see more of what you might focus on or try and like whatnot. It's just really hard to explain these dynamics. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, those of y'all who are saying I'm not a creep. Thank you. I don't think
you're not a creep.
I don't believe I'm a fraud. I don't believe I'm a creep. I don't believe I'm a loser. I could be a bit of a weirdo because I'm a, you know, I'm gonna
nail up to another weirdo over here.
Yeah, that's Aquarius midheaven. You know, we make it look.
Yep. Welcome to the club. Me personally, I love it. I love it anyway. So yep. I never like to be a part of the being like the crowd or being like other. I love the difference in who I am, and I love when people come to me with how different they are. Because then the world would be boring if we were all the same. You know what I'm saying?
And nobody, and I don't think I'm weird enough. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like some people.
So there's more of you that's gonna come out. You see that?
Exactly. Some people can look at me right now and be like, "Oh, you got a little YouTube following. your head gassed up. You weren't
whatever.
It's
Haters.
just like for like the money changed you, and it's like, well, I mean, you get more money. Just like people who get accused of changing because they're in a better situation. The only thing constant in life is change. So it's like, of course, you're going to experience a metamorphosis. Be careful of people who want to bring up your past in an effort to undermine you and kind of feel better than you, because they're intimidated by your present.
Yes, they're intimidated and they're afraid of the presence of how powerful you are. You see what I'm saying? And also the good thing too, Mike, which I'm gonna tell all of y'all, is that they're watching you. They're watching me. They're watching others, because they're feeling something, but they're not understanding it. Because what's going to end up happening is that people who have turned away from you before, they're going to end up coming back. Yeah. They're going to end up coming back, because this all couldn't happen all at the same time. Because I wouldn't want to imagine everybody awakening up at the same time. How crazy that would be. Now that would have been crazy. Okay. Sure. So this what we call this Armageddon that's happening, this massive amount of change and earthquake element, tornado element, tsunami element, okay, all these elements, the sun, the rain, everything all at once, you see. And it's a part of the process. We're going through so much up levels to all of this that we can't even, I feel like we're really running out of more words to describe this, to be honest with you.
I have shared the channel in the description box below for Miss Firehorse, who asked. And Neptune and Pisces is dissolving the egoic games. Dynamics. Here's how I use the cheat code to get through this. I have single-handedly embraced everything towards me that was meant to undermine me. I've been called lame. I've been called creepy. I've been called a nerd. I've been told that I sound white, and so I embraced it.
White? Oh my God, that's just reaching.
They're reaching. Oh yeah,
they're reaching.
It's like, instead of getting defensive and being like, "No, I'm not that," I'm be like, "Oh yeah,
oh, great, yay, yeah.
I love being this way. Thank you for noticing." And it completely disarms the energy.
It does.
You feel the need to prove yourself. All people do at this point, like I felt the dark force as of late get crippled, because all they can do as of late is just call you names. It's like,
yes.
All they can do is get mad and just like vent and call you something, and it's projecting.
And how you respond to it differently. Yeah, because remember when I think I did share this before in one of the lives with this lady. She supposedly on the path, and she was trying to be a bully towards me. With that, remember? And she went and put on the thing, oh yeah, Nefertiti was an alien, this and that. So she thought that it was going to make me feel bad, but I didn't. I was smiling and laughing because, again, I love being different. And I'm like, yeah, so I am. So I got a big forehead. Yeah. So it kind of disappointed her, and she ended up deleting the whole thing. And I saw right through her after the fact, because at first I was innocent in the sense I put like in the emoji laughing, like, yeah, I always knew I was an alien, but that's not what she was expecting. So it backfired on her ass. You see what I'm saying? And guess what? She's no longer on social media at all. So everything that I had to filter through with myself and being bullied and taunted and how dare you say you're this and that and who do you think you are? And I still stayed steadfast. I never deactivated or close up my account. Never deleted no videos. Never. I stayed in my truth and my power all these years. And what ends up happening is that anything that has represented what we call the false light, or those people pretending that they're on the twin flame path, or acting like there's the this and the shit because they're with another physical person, and then they create this delusion that you think like, oh gosh, they're in union, so I gotta follow what they say. Be very mindful about that. Just because of that does not mean. I tell you, the greatest power I feel that comes from within any of you who's on that path is when you're able to navigate through this divine connection from what you're feeling in your heart, even if you're not with the person. That's powerful. Not everyone is able to master that, where you know the truth, even if you're not in contact or you're not with the person, but you know and feel what's true for you. And that's what ignites power within you as well. Because it's like I say to someone, well, everyone say they want to see God. everyone wants to know God. Now that God is here, okay, what the fuck, right? So God is showing up through this person and this and how, and the love that's flowing. Can you feel it? And that experience you have, someone else might not be able to experience it. So think of how blessed you are to be in that position now where you are recognizing and knowing what is the truth for you with this, than someone else out there that's trying to paint a picture pony and trying to say that they know more than you just because whatever. You know what I mean? Like who gives you?
God isn't gonna show up as some like ultimate all-knowing being flexing. God is gonna show up as a homeless person asking you
exactly,
seeing exactly how you see that homeless person.
That's right. Because that's what happened with Yeshua. Remember when he was with the disciples and they said, "Well, how are we gonna see you and know you?" He said, "Well, see me in everyone else that comes knocking on the door with whatever you think I may have or not." You see what I'm saying? Not into thinking that you see me only based on if someone else who has money or something, or this person has greater power or more knowledge, and I have my PhD and this and that. Let me tell you something. I do billing and collections for nursing homes. And when I started out doing that, it's not because I decided and say, "Oh, gee, I want to do that." No, this because a friend of mine said, and Archangel Gabriel said to me, "Why don't you try doing this?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I want to do that because, the competition is very high." He said to me, just through a channel message, he said to me, "Well, how about you recognize that you are the best? You are the competition." And when he said that, that always stuck with me in my heart for years. And guess what? There is no one that does it like how I do. I never went to school to do billing. I never worked in a nursing home a day in my life, okay? And I master that shit. I own it. I'm successful at it within my heart. And of course, I connect to those who cross over to the other side. You know what I'm saying? So I work that magic within myself. I counsel people and help people to heal, right? With things with no background in, nursing or psychology or any of that. You see what I'm saying? Because the power that is bestowed through me comes from this Christ consciousness, and where God has placed me here to who I am and how we connect to each other to help each other to heal and to move and to trek forward. You see? So again, keep on keeping on and owning who you are.
If some of you find yourself integrating back into 3D, do not get perturbed because maybe the spiritual path didn't work out for you and it didn't happen the way you're wanting to. This is Uranus and Taurus. You're going to be applying your intuitive gifts towards practical work. So let's say Uranus and Aries occurred and you developed powers of death to know when people are going to die, to know who was responsible, and to know all the ways that someone was involved in death. Uranus is in Taurus now. You can now become a detective and you'll now know who murderers are. Let's say you're super intuitive and you know how to locate.
I do that too, Mike.
I bet you do.
No, I do. I've had friends who've hired me to find out things, and I find, that's how intuitive I am. It is powerful. That's why sometimes people are scared to, because I'm going to tell you the truth. And I've been a detective and I just see right through it. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I have to laugh.
I asked someone if I could read her chart and she's like, "I don't want to know. I'm good." I was like, You're wise. That's what's up. That's the right answer. That's what it is.
Oh my gosh, this is so funny.
So y'all, I mean, own your divinity, embrace your quirks. Don't rush.
It's gangster.
That's gangster. Shout out to the spiritual gangsters in the building that stand up for authenticity and holding space for others and building them up and not breaking them down.
Yes, building up. That's right. We're building up each other, building up even more than blocks, It's like an energy of building, and it's already starting to come through like shooting stars, It's powerful. And I feel that we've at least surpassed the greater obstacles, so to speak. That's kind of the feeling that I get.
Yeah.
And there's many of us that are at this place now where it's like we're going through this rewrite, and the rewrite is pushing through more than the other stuff that has been kind of against us. So all those elements of darkness that we've had to push through and has tried to stop us, and all these things, is that's it. The seals are now closed. You know, that's how they showed it to me. Those 7 seals are now closed off. That's right. So I wanted to find out if anyone would love to
we have the live. Oh, to what?
To hear from Miss Charlize again, briefly, if you'd like to shift over for a little bit. She can bring in some rhymes. I also had a vision, Mike, where you and Charlize do a rap element. I don't want to say a rap war, but it's like
like a cipher.
What's that?
Yeah, I want to shoot a cipher with her where like we get one beat and we write like raps to it, and it's like a circle of people who just kind of rap to the beat, and we could shoot.
Oh yeah, love that.
I'm getting much more into the ciphers these days. It'll be really dope.
Awesome. So I'm gonna do something black for 1 second. I'm gonna shout. Let me stop.
Charlize!
Mike is shouting you out.
Charlize, come over here.
He said, "Come on, girl. Let's shift some energy.
We need you."
Ooh, and it's 12:12.
See, she called the mutable sign to shift energy.
Okay.
See, that's what she's doing.
Yep.
Embrace your crazy. It's all you have. I don't want to say it's all you have. Better embrace it. Is this gonna?
Because it's chilly. About shirt.
It's chilly down.
Say hi to everyone. They're watching. Hello. Greetings.
What
Greetings.
up?
So it's chilly down here.
Not.
Yes, it is. So I've already.
You see, she starts already.
What did I
Just
start?
like argument. This is she the Virgo.
Am I arguing? I'm not even arguing.
Whatever. You also have something smart to say.
Just stating facts, right?
I was literally I'm just saying. Fine.
Word.
Simple as that.
That's my new Virgo skit. I'm just saying, and everyone just looks like, what? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just spitting facts.
She said, she just said that. She said facts. You just said that just now. I'm gonna play some old. Huh? I'm gonna play. No. We're just warming up. Just warming up. Just relax. I'm gonna go to some old tune. Look over there. Don't look at me.
No, I was waiting for you.
Oh, snap.
Okay. I don't know what they on. Hey, dressed in the red like dip the sauce. I don't know what they on. Hey, now they act like I'm back. I'm on. I've been busting my game. Hey, I've been busting my game. Hey, now I'm just shaking my head. Hey, I'm just full of the jag. Hey, but it's that they talking that smack, but I back on you. Don't know. I don't back down. I got that new track. I got that track. I cannot stop all that. That's mad. You wanna talk that? You wanna talk that? Take that elsewhere. I got nothing for that. This is not Microsoft, I ain't got time to fix that. I'll tell you, this is a quick track, it's a rap, it's a warm-up, you know that too. I gotta get into my touch, I got that, yeah, hey, the rap is the rap of the rap. Hey, the rap is the rap, I'm rapping and rapping like rabbits. I tell you this is not something you can't understand in a second. I do not disrespect it, I reckon that you take a second to understand, comprehend what I am spitting. I spit and I get it, it is a minute, millisecond, hey, millisecond, hey. Call me evil, cause I'm like, mother%, I do not understand. I thought it was over. Hey. Shoulder, ice, shoulder, ice, shoulder, ice, shoulder, ice, mix it, that's too nice. Shoulder, ice, shoulder, roller over. I'm gonna show you how you do this, moving over, how you do that. I'm just smoother, I'm smoother, hey. They cannot do this, they clueless, hey. Blue Clues ain't got nothing on you, you know that too, I true, hey. I'ma spit something real fast, like I said that once, I say it again. That track, okay. Hey.
Can I hit that?
What, yeah.
Hit that freestyle one time, rap a little bit, let you know I got the skills. Okay, you know my skills kill, and I'm freestyling too, and I'm coming with the drill. I don't even hear the beat, but I attack it all sight. You know I rap the light, and I do it all night. Hey, still get the lines. On the lines, they parallel in time. And I'm going in, cause I'm showing now. Hope you know you better not be with doubt, cause I'll blast it out.
Oh, okay. All right. So first I get quick with it, got the smooth move, slick, Rick and sick with it. They can get with it. I'ma tell you something real, kid. All these little kids look up to me. I'm joking. I'm the not nothing. Talking about my rest provocative. I told you this, the nonsense they spitting in my head, I cannot get. It's insane. I'm just feeling like I'm going on my head. I'm feeling like I'm about to pop up on them. I'ma knock them off the shelf and take them over. Okay, how you do that? Shoulder, move them over. Oh my God, I'm feeling like I'm about to blow up, pop my fucking soda with the Mentos. Hold on, bring it back to beat. I see you how it going now. Moving, it's a stupid song. Okay, but you grooving to it and you know it's on. You grooving to it and you know it's on. The hottest fire like a fire. I told you this be getting higher. I'm feeling like a titan, how we reaching up the eye. Okay, burn it up, it's like an iron. Sizzling, hot like it's bacon. Shake it up, shake it, just take it. How you wanna take it? I don't gotta say nothing, just say it how you make it. Shake your money in your hands. Do your dance, make it all. Do your move, make a move. What you do, make it smooth. That's okay, cause they still rocking on us like we go. Rada. I'ma tell you something, call it like it's freaking chowder. Cooking up inside the kitchen, how you finna whip it? We can never slipping on it, cause we sipping up the water, cause hot, yeah. Sipping up the water with the high, yeah. Okay, how we ride that? Pen, pencil, paper, I'ma tell you ride that. Okay, quick track that, hey, cook up with the check on that, hey, quick max. Check that like it's Nike, all fast, hey. Okay, bounce back. What you finna say? Oh yeah. I'll stick to you like a thumbtack, hey. Stick to you, that's real fast. Stick to you like a thumbtack, real fast. Yeah, that comes to me, I'ma tell you, yeah. Stick to them like a, yeah. Silly, that's silly. Try to pin up on me, I'ma tell you I'm really on the beat, and I feel like I'm shrilling Sicily. On the beat, oh snap, that's heat.
So Michael's gonna say something too? Let's go back.
I got some flows.
Alright,
All right, we go take a smooth. Bring it back to a nice time. How you feeling, ladies and gentlemen? I remember back in the 90s, we used to watch Rugrats.
The best.
And play outside. Represent Berkeley, but act like it ain't. It's an asshole with dick, and I ain't with the lameness. Better get out of my way and stand with, because I stop it as soon as you go, or whatever. I know, like Aquarius. That's my enemy show, and that's my North Node, so I'm aligned with destiny. It brings out the best of me to the enemy. I don't you'll get shot. Blah, blah, blah. That's my little blah. Third, and I go with the flow like a Pisces that really know. And I give divine wisdom, Charlize the Virgo, and I'm a Gemini, beautiful magician, showing you the you and I, or the I and you. It is what it is, but I don't know you like a vowel. All I know is that I'm here like now. I'm person, place, and thing, and I'll bow. Always tell the truth.
Right now? Okay. Alright. Let's go. Okay. I'm rapping on the beat, modestly, call me youngest prodigy. They thought I couldn't be me, but I'm killing on the beat like the youngest Socrates. I'm feeling like I'm about to eat it like, oh, no, they got no hope, but I show them what's better. So they've been waiting for it, now I'm rocking all the time. So now they're waiting for it, I'ma spit a couple rhymes, make them shake them head, make them shake money like a dime, dropping out their pocket. I just stopped it, I just got it. I'm about to blow up the stock, I told them that I dropped it. I pop up, fuck them like a Stockton, I'm to hit the shots and I'ma show them what I'm doing. No, hey, okay, I know it's kinda costly. Yeah, I'm bossy, but I still wanna talk. How I talk, I walk my walk, I know, but I just keep it written like chalk. You know, they never ever taught me how to rap. I learned myself, and I can never do nothing up to the self-respect that I have it for me. I know you telling me to instantly just stop acting so confident, cocky, and all that. Oh, okay, that's a simple joke though. You wanna talk to me, do not provoke, bro, cause I come back at you like I'm a mosquito, Chiquita. I know that you see it, I know not you. Hold on. I know that they been know that I'm not slow, cause if I was slow, then I wouldn't know how to handle you, yo. I can tell you the truth. If I'm talking to you, then I'm talking the truth, and I'm telling it too. Hey, all my fellows, all my peers, if you near, just hear me. I am sincerely spitting these rhymes just to you, so you understand my message and it just comes through. I can show you the truth, I can show you the ways, but you hating on these others, following the way that is so insensitive. It is not for me. That is so insensitive. It's not for me. If you wanna hear something that I can spit a cup of heat and make it little dumb down for you, okay, that's okay, no shade. But I gotta keep on my way, my lane. My day is the day that I blow up and show up. The night sky shine with me. Constellations, they keep showing me how I make it. Pave the way or take what you take. I cannot shake or break them off like it sticks. Nah, dropping down like bricks. Nah, if I gotta get sick with it, then I guess I gotta kill them real quick with it. Oh, okay. So they stay talking. I got you, gotta get it and hit it like a Jabberwocky, and then you go and slip. Yeah. Yo. Fire!
Woo! Hot bars, Charlize. You're getting better and better.
Oh, you gotta do the Jabberwocky. You gotta do the Jabberwocky. All right. Don't start. Here she goes again.
So you wanna find me another beat?
That's me, man.
Hello.
Okay. I cannot handle what? Hold on. Or am I speaking about accent? Hold on. Okay. I couldn't handle the nonsense. It don't make no sense in my brain. It's just not sending this message. It's just presense. Oh, wait a minute, I don't get that. My brain is not working. I'm calculating. My medulla is having a hard time handling all music. I guess I just gotta remix it and refuse it with other things that I'm going. Should turn up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kinda lost my flow, I don't know where to go. So we about to flip it off, send it to the ocean, and we bring it back that smooth with the motion. They don't know what to do, cause they too confused with my potion that I've been through. You already know I've been through. I seen a lot of things, but I could easily put it on the easel. They've been around like the measles, but my lines are still lethal. They will hit you hardly, and you know it too. They will hit you hard like the beat when it's coming through. Pumping, 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 pumping. They cannot do nothing but keep their hand jumping. Keep it high in the sky if you know how we really do this. Highest, 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 and we about to go through this. This is the tune mix. If you get down with it, get with it. It's original hits, original hits. If you can't get with it, then do not hit.
What other song you want? Did that one.
You didn't get a lot of beats, did you?
Man, just keep going. Okay, you didn't. Right.
I feel like I rapped to this beat before.
No, you didn't. This is 1990s again.
I didn't rap to this beat?
Nope.
Okay. Turn up a little.
Yes, boss.
Alright. I'm too hot, so they try to put me in the schooler. But I already told you not to stroller, but I'ma old school ya. I'ma tell you something what I do, I'ma spit facts, know that. Ripping up the track like a Wolverine. Seen that movie about you couple times, but I still reminiscing. They ain't no missing anything. If you got a problem, don't hit on this. Cause I got another thing that I want to discuss. Just understand problems will lead to repercussions. No discussion, this is something that is untouchable. You already know how it goes, but watch your back, that's true. Hey, you already know how the crew comes through. If you want to talk smack, talk crap, then you better pick up before you get the sticker. You know you cannot handle when we stick to you like a sticker. This is something that is like a little riddle that you could ever get a fiddle of. You could fiddle with anything you want, but once the couple up with the cuffs, you done. You cuffed, you gone. Inside the jail, there ain't no bail, but still you still in there like meat that's on the plate that ain't got nobody there to eat. It ain't ever ate. I sell you once, I tell you once. It's just all the same. Problems come back when they turn around. Like a boomerang, hang around, they gon' bing around. You don't wanna think now, you don't wanna take down. Everybody wanna get hit with the stake down. That's a mistake. If you say what you say, you gon' come back again. That's about damn time that you heard that, my friend. If you cannot understand that, that's okay. Cause God's gonna tell you, you gon' learn the hard way. You gon' learn the hard way. Hey, you gon' learn the hard way. Hey, You gonna learn the hard way. Don't say what you say, cause that's a big mistake, buddy. You think that is funny, but ain't nothing coming from it. Everybody wanna hit you like a kamikaze. That's just powerful. That's just powerful. That's a power tool. If you talk enough, you know that you can hit you out of full. Hey, I'm out of space and I'm just going insane inside my brain. I tell you this once again, but I cannot just keep on saying the same thing. That's too plain. I know you understand that, Jane, but you cannot ever do anything. I feel them like Bojangles. I'm that chicken cooking up in the hot in the pot. Hey, I could cook it up. I could tell you once to the spot. Hey, we can spit a little bit on the Biggie attract. Hey, we can spit a little bit in the Chirac or not. Hey, okay. It's non-stop. Non-stop. If the beat rocks, then I rock too. You don't want to stop because you want to rock to my tunes. My tunes is my iTunes, because kinda I only listen to my tunes. I'm lying, I'm joking, you know I don't do that. Ain't nothing to it. Hey. That's just foul play. You don't want to talk none of that. That's just foul play. You don't want to talk none of that. Like a baseball game, they playing these games like it's Major League. I honestly see that they trying to provoke the beast, poke it with the stick like the bear. You do not care if they come through, then they about to pounce on you.
Woo. So that's Charlize. You have anything you want to tell everybody?
Have a nice night.
Woo! Hot bars as usual.
Have a nice night.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
She's moves around. So Mike, you gotta make that happen with her.
Oh no, definitely.
To the next few times on a pop off for a couple boys.
No, it's
What?
You wanna hear a song I actually like I wrote down and like I actually like.
You looking at me? Ask him.
Oh, you wanna hear a song that I like actually like I like wrote down and actually thought about it?
Yeah.
Okay. You should play.
I'm trying to hear a written yes. Absolutely.
All right. To the next 3 times on the pop off, spit a couple bars, you can think hard, but your mind saw real talk, yeah, I'm tough, spit fast like a race car, also sir, but I am not a base for whatever safer, not so much for the flavor. Who's gonna side when I'm rocking placers, making paper? G chasers hate on me because they ain't got sleep lately, because they've been sleeping in on my new key. They say watching my life like it's their favorite movie. I'm mostly on the scene for the fury, they can't control my soul, my flow like a bit turby. Oh my god, it's too hot, everything icy. I see Rocky on me, I see Rocky on me, I see Rocky on me, they not stop on me. I told them that you cannot chill, no homie, coming back to me like I'm the ocean. I then told them that I'm 10,000 and I'm feel. Wait, hold on. Jeez, I haven't rapped that song in a long time. I see Rocky on me. I see Rocky. Oh, okay. Okay. You can understand why I got smoke mental. Spit a little bars on the instrumental. Present the tempo, but it's a tempo. Make it mental when your thoughts are tangle. My mind no blank on my lingo, you're no rate tone. It's a humble thought indeed, so yes, thank you. Hold on, wait a minute, just let that sink. Hold on, wait a minute, just let that sink you. Oh yes, I'ma tell you, this is another thing that will compel you. Don't spell you. I'ma tell you, this is the next thing that will pop up and hop up for your neck. Can I get that? No disrespect. This is what I get. Go cash your checks. Go cash your checks, but you cannot get that bank account. You get what's next. Hey. Okay, that's all I wrote. It's an unfinished song.
Nobody would never know.
It's an unfinished song now.
So Mike can't end it all for you, so he balanced out that masculine energy.
What'd you say?
I said you can finish it off. She said it's an unfinished song, so you can finish the other part for her.
I'm gonna finish this off.
Yeah.
My options soft like Charmin rolls, toilet paper. It's crazy. And now I have this lazy flow. Yeah, they don't have to pay me though. I'ma just spit because I came here, yo. And it is what it is. Watch me flip the flow quick and I'm getting in my biz. I can't hear the beat if I spit over the track, but I don't need the beat because my heart beats the beat and I go in mad discreet like angles. 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 360 degrees, Pringles.
Yo, this is so much fun. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Thank you
awesome.
for listening to my incomplete song.
I never even heard it before.
You probably don't listen enough. That's
Oh, give me a
it's
break.
on my other USB.
Mhm.
The one that broke.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on that one.
So tell them your Instagram.
I got it in the description box below.
Oh, you do? Okay. Okay.
I just
Cool.
updated, refreshed the page for Instagram and her YouTube. Hit her up, follow her, show her some love. And now we are going to get into the PayPal live readings. If you would like a channeled message and tarot card from me, let us get this started. The link is in the description box below. And we are going to get started first with, let us see, drum roll, please.
Drum roll. I'm listening.
So first we have, let's see, oops. First we have Tipping Stone Media, LLC. Margaret, card on love partnership ever. I got loyalty. So she would like a message on, her name is Margaret, by the way, and she would like to know about the potentials of a partnership.
The potentials of a partnership. Wow, when I tune into Margaret, she feels very like I see you like the queen in your castle. So there's like some regal energy about you. So if you've ever felt as if you are connected to like London or any of these high tower places, feeling your connection to that type of thing, that's where I'm feeling so strong with you. So I feel like you are working through balancing with your masculine energy, and it's like I feel like there's a calling coming through for you to do with this person. Okay, so come in even greater into your heart and feminine space, that you can now let your guard down so that this person can now come in, because what's happening is that we're reconnecting ourselves to the true newer divine masculine energy, and I feel like that you're calling this person home. That's how it feels to me. I almost feel like you've been having dreams to do with this person. So you definitely hold that. Yeah. Oh, you've been a queen. So yes, I just feel this regal queen energy about you. So instead of you being in the mother frequency, I'm hearing your soul say, come into the divine goddess energy now. Okay, where you're feeling the fruits of your womb that's starting to come into this blossom. That's how the whole energy feels. Okay, it's like it's just right close next to you. Just want to tell you.
Interestingly enough, I got the Justice card, but it comes with like the page of the page of swords. Where's this page? It comes with the page of swords, which is looking at this 5 of Pentacles, and the first image that I got here was like charity work, and that I feel like this Justice card is you, like especially with any recent legal situations. Oh my goodness, anything. The page of swords next to Justice is government surveillance and being spied on. But the intuition I got was doing some type of charity work, even though charity is like 6 of Pentacles. You kind of focusing on any nonprofit work will actually lead you to perhaps this person, if this person isn't in that situation himself. Okay, so next we have, let's see, Sean Greenfield. Sean Greenfield would like a channeled message. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm an Aries rising, first house with Libra sun and moon in the 6th house. Pluto and Virgo in the 5th. Thank you, love and appreciate both of you. So he would like 2 different channeled messages.
Okay, so you want to go first on him with his card since he gave his chart?
Totally.
So I see how much I could tap in. Okay.
So as a Aries rising, Pluto Virgo too, as an Aries rising and a Libra sun and moon, this is very fundamental. So a lot of your 7th house energy is having to break through, once and for all, a powerful dynamic of how you're redefining rules, of how you're redefining your place in society, of how you're really emerging your legacy. And at this stage of your life, really fulfilling this and really coming into passive income to set up the next generation. So the first set of cards, halftime was lit. You know what's up, Lissy?
Yes. You're welcome, Party Case.
So we have the King of Wands, which is clearly you, right? As an Aries rising. And then we have the Sun and Aries card. So this is talking about you really being entrepreneurial and not holding back on your ideas and having ambitious ideas and making the long-term enterprising plans to make them into reality over the next 6 months. We have the Page of Cups as well that comes with the High Priestess. So this is talking about budding intuitive gifts and a spiritual connection with perhaps this archetype of a woman who's going to intuitively connect with you. But if this isn't romantic, this is more talking about like deep psychic intuitive abilities birthing from you accordingly. And new feelings that connect you deeper with spirit.
You done?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's so amazing because and it's almost like as if you're cutting through everything like with a knife or not a knife, like with a sword. And it's like that energy that you have right now, just keep it up because it's like you're slaying the dragons or anything that has been a block to you. And I feel that that energy that you have within you is bringing in your true love because your true love is coming in. Because I was just about to say, I was like, oh my God, I see the image of someone that's either in your life or something that you're clearing away that she's not, like she or whoever your partner is about to come in, and you're going to be doing the spiritual work together is what I'm hearing. You're not meant to do it alone is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Amen. So next we have Gunjan Shukla. Hi, I want to know about my spirit mediumship abilities, other spiritual ability I might have, and what is the future regarding my money situation, finances? Really concerned.
Okay, what I pick up with, is this a female?
Yeah.
Female? Okay. What I'm feeling and hearing, you have a very strong connection to the Buddha, like being in the temples and connecting to the inner goddess. And I'm feeling that there's this power that is returning to you even more. Like, how do I say it? Like, especially like being near, I don't know, it's like I'm seeing you near the water. I'm seeing you near like this isolated type of place. But what it is like you're reconnecting to your true self as the goddess that you are. So like go into the chanting and allow yourself to be free and flowing with who you are, with the incense. Like I see you lighting the incense, and you also have a strong connection to fire energy as well. I'm seeing that and hearing that. Okay. As far as your finances are concerned, what I'm hearing is Spirit saying is that for you to start implementing something that you know in your heart that you are destined to do, but you're hesitating. So to step out of your fear about it and to start doing it. Okay. And that's what I'm seeing and hearing. And I feel like when you start putting that into place, then things will start to move in that direction for you to build on your prosperity. Okay. And it feels like something spiritual. So I know I don't want to make it seem redundant, but if you're guided to use your intuition and to also guide others, then do that. Okay. Because I see you being involved with groups of people. So
I wanted to tell you what the cards were, but then I started to pull them and they told a story on its own. So you totally have to see this. I don't know why. I wish it wasn't inverting the camera here, but we have the Empress. When I asked for like your gifts, the Empress is saying you can tap into mediumship through your beauty, through your divine feminine essence, Venus. But I'm just going to show you the reading that kind of came through because it was very crazy. We have spiritual gifts with the star, and then we had cups. And then we have the Page of Cups. So you are fully fleshing out this super intuitive, super psychic facet of yourself that's allowing you to really connect and feel, very very psychologically the emotions of others. But if we now, so when it comes to mediumship and spiritual gifts, it's high level intuition. It's not really an issue where you're not being able to trust your intuition. You're highly intuitive and you're really tapped into your emotions. But let me show you the reading that came out, because I think this is relevant to you. We have the Knight of Cups here. So we have a romantic connection, and look what comes after: the Devil card and the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands and the Knight of Cups is a soulmate, but the Devil is talking about, this is a very sexual soulmate. This is someone who isn't necessarily bad for you, but it's like your star energy is going to purify this more seductive sexual energy that they're going to bring with this Ace of Cups. So it's interesting because you're asking about finances, right? We have this in the Ten of Cups. This doesn't really have any traditional like pentacle cards, as much as it's really talking about you tapping more into the pure essence of your psychic energy. And when it comes to finances, really tapping more into your hobbies and your passions, your true dream. If you focus on what you artistically want to do, as opposed to anything practical for now, you know, this direction is going to be supported quite powerfully. But I think this might be influenced by an emerging romance. I mean, you've seen that. I had to show you. This is very spicy, if anything. So next we have Andrea Drede. What's poppin'? She would like a channeled message.
Andrea Drede?
Andrea Lenz.
Oh, Andrea Lenz. Okay. Okay, so let me see what I get for Andrea. Okay, Andrea, what I'm hearing, and you know, that's my name too. Yes, powerful. It ties to Ireland. I'm feeling like you're going through a rapid change career-wise. So if you are feeling like this energy of time to get out of Dodge, time to do something different, or take what you do now someplace else, I'm feeling like this energy, like it's getting closer and closer and closer, because there's something to do with you aligning more with your prosperity, and that you're exercising more of your masculine energy with getting started with this, okay, and following your heart, because I just get this feeling of you going through another door, okay, towards your prosperity is what I'm hearing. All of this is coming in because I just see a whole bunch of coins around you. Mm-hmm.
And the card that I have for you, Andrea. No problem, Ginjan. Thank you so much once again.
You're welcome.
Your investment. So we have the Six of Pentacles, and it comes with the Six of Wands. I like this meeting together. It's like you're going to be collaborating with influential people in your community. If you're the Six of Wands, you'll be working with a philanthropist who wants to use your influence to throw a fundraiser. Or maybe you're a philanthropist who might probably book an artist or someone famous to kind of come into an event. You might actually be both these people. And it's talking about developing financial flow in an essence where you're giving back to the community because of what you receive. You're really going to be more favorably received, as, you know, a lot of your exploits are heard around town. Okay. Next, we have Christian Garcia, who would like a channeled message.
Christian Garcia. Okay. Right away, I'm taking immediately, Christian, to do with a home or a home situation. If you are in a relationship or you're thinking of moving into a relationship or moving, I'm seeing something around those lines to, you know, for you right now. And this home, because they're showing me a house. So if you're looking to move, or you're looking for a house, or you're feeling the need, like you're planning this or whatever, because I'm not even looking at the chat because I'm channeling this. And what I'm seeing, this house is like something with yellow in it, or a yellow type of setting, or the outside is yellow, or the kitchen is yellow, or you're connected to the color yellow. Okay. And it's like you have been feeling stuck where you're at. And now it's time to move in another direction, new location or something like that, okay? Or if it's time to move out of a relationship where you're in this place, there's just something to do with moving into another home or moving into another place or something. That's what it feels like to me, is that they show me this house. It's one level. That's how I see the house.
And the card that I have for you You said moving, right?
Yeah, I just see this house. Yeah.
I got the travel overseas card, which is like
Wow.
with moderation. So you're introducing healthier habits into your life. Moderation is key. But the Six of Swords is promoting a positive future. Oh, towards the Ace of Wands, you might move for an opportunity too, even if it's not physically. So keep that in mind, because this is definitely, I don't get the sense that it's a job opportunity though, but you might go on a vacation, visit someone, or get an opportunity to travel. But this is more so talking about distancing yourself from old trauma while practicing good management in your life, shedding old habits and introducing more positive ones. Next, we have Santara, who would like a channeled reading.
Santara, oh my goodness. Santara, as soon as Mike called your name, immediately I get all this power coming in, flowing through with you. So I feel like you're going through some powerful transformations, and I could feel this energy immediately through your body, like you're connecting to so much more of your galactic powers. I feel like you're getting a lot of downloads. I feel like you're not even able to sleep that much because of all this energy flowing through you. I mean, it's very, very strong because I'm feeling it, and it's like it's pulling out for me, with me connecting to your soul right now, with who you are. So don't hide yourself anymore, because a lot of this they're showing me is happening in the nighttime. They're showing me it's dark outside, and it's like you're kind of keeping it to yourself in a secret way. But they're saying that by summertime, or well, we're in the summertime now, but within the next 2 months, you're going to be out there kind of speaking about your journey, and you're taking it into a higher place or something like that. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah.
So, Antara, you're stepping all the way into your beauty. We got the Page of Cups, the Empress, the Queen of Cups, and attracting this night. Things are about to get really romantic, because the one individual who knows the way into the Queen of Cups heart, Cancer, is Pisces. Well, maybe not all the time, because Cancer does like Scorpio, probably sometimes more Pisces. But the Knight of Cups knows, like the Queen of Cups has the deepest emotional connection with Scorpio, the King of Cups, but the Knight of Cups knows how to seduce the Queen. So Santara, you're about to get romance. This coming with this pure new love, and this is really just encouraging. I get the sense this summer, like this Cancer season, it's about to go down, and you're really about to really express this powerful love. And it's not like it has to be a soulmate as much as it is just a pleasurable experience with someone who genuinely loves you. So last but not least,
maybe it is both, because I saw for her some things happening within the next 2 months during the summer.
Bliss and happiness. So it looks like a long-term relationship is coming in. Last but not least, Empress Daisy.
Empress Daisy.
She would like a juicy message.
How juicy? You know, I can make it very juicy, you know. Oh my gosh. But when I tune into Empress Daisy, immediately I start thinking about the horse. You know,
when you said that before, I saw her energy in you. I feel like you're both linked together. Sure. Oh, your moon is on her south node. That's it. Bam.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then, yeah. Like I really saw essence of her in you when you kind of said in that voice. It was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she a deep soul sister anyway, so it makes a lot of sense. And you know, it's interesting when I tap into your energy field right now compared to last week, you feel even stronger, more powerful. I feel like you're stepping out more, like you're out in the open more, or there's something more they're saying that you are activating or expanding with yourself. It's like you're in that place, like what we spoke about earlier, Mike and I, about owning it until you're really truly owning yourself. I feel like you're going through a lot of like signs and synchronicities. Some things are changing around you, even with what you see. And I feel like as if you're gathering up so much information and you're trying to also put the pieces together with stuff, but it's like you're on another level with it. That's how they're telling me that you're leveled up in another direction, and you feel more excited too. That's what I'm hearing. I also feel like you're having a lot of sexual energy going on around you. I'm feeling it and I'm seeing it in your solar plexus and all in that region right there. So use that energy to also bring in more of this creativity that you have. Okay. And I also feel like you're going to be coming up with another project or something new that you have in mind that you want to do. So that's what I'm getting.
So you wanted juicy. You wanted juicy. You're going to get it. Okay. Are you ready? We got the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Swords. Tell these niggas and tell these bitches to get off your dick. Okay, stand your ground. I literally see this like very amazing facet of your confidence. I almost saw you as both of these people, and I do see you as both of these people. You're fed. It's like you're so resolute. The Queen of Swords does not care what anyone thinks. She tells it like it is. She's telling people off left and right. And the Seven of Wands means that even if she stands alone, like she has it on lock. And you're having to fight against opposition. Being a channeler and being what you do, you have the intellect, you have the advantage, you know what it is you're doing. So maintain this professional air. It also might be a lawyer or someone you're gaining advice from. As you can see, this person standing up to themselves, but they're being advised by this very intelligent queen who's like letting him know what's right to say, what's not right to say. So that's really beautiful. And Empress wants another message.
Well, what I'm also picking up with you, Empress Daisy, is that you're drawing in and pulling in a lot of this divine masculine energy, like more of them are attracting towards you. And the reason that's happening, because it's like they want you to, your team wants you to have a greater understanding of it. It's like you are awakening your divine goddess in you. And so that's why you're feeling all of this sexual energy, okay? Because I could feel it. I'm feeling it as well. And so remember that energy itself and how it's going out there to others is that you're also having for them to awaken to the true meaning and the essence of the divine feminine and what it means for them to also come into their heart space as well. Okay. So I just want to let you know why that's happening.
All right. Thank you, Michelle Atkins. Much, 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 much appreciated. Okay. Ooh, interesting. We got the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Swords, which is talking about anxiety, and it's also talking about this. I got another similar card. To me, this looks like maybe a soulmate situation or you and someone else. Like someone is just too closed off and the other one has anxiety. And both of you are mirroring each other's inhibition. Okay. But it's also really urging you to stay perseverant. This is you channeling like negative entities and having to hold space in your family because of the negative psychic airwaves in the space, but it's saying to hold your ground and not give up. It's like that. I'm gonna pull one more card for you as well. Because it's not really a bad card as much as it is just talking about what's clearing away. Because 9 is right before this. There you go.
Yeah.
So like, this is all gonna reach a peak point to where you really manifest something amazing. Okay, and then you take that wand and you defend yourself with it. So we are going to close here. Oh my gosh, this Vegas heat is not playing. It's nighttime. Like I'm sweating out here. But yeah, thank you so much again, Sharon. Thank you, Charlie.
Oh, thank you for having me. Oh, she got to our bed already.
But thank you guys in the live chat as well for tuning in. This has been a really great episode. And as always, you all stay blessed. And until next time, peace out.
Peace.